Alrighty, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Smudcast number 363. This is How Documentaries Lie to You. And if you don't know who our wonderful YouTuber is today, it is Quintin Reviews. And he's going to tell us the secret of how documentaries throughout the years, apparently, and some shows which aren't documentaries lie to you. So he takes a very broad approach to this question. He does, in fact, try to answer it compared to other YouTubers we recently watched who don't understand the concept of titling stuff. And I'm having conversations with these people, and they just don't, like, I'm asking them all these questions, and they just can't answer a single one. It's amazing. So
I always imagine, like, you ask them a question, and their response is, okay. And they're like, oh, God. Okay? No speak de English. And you're like, okay.
Well, these are actual English speakers, probably from Great Britain. I don't know where exactly in the world they're from, but we've watched them before, and it's just, this is retarded. Like, did you actually watch or read the book or show? Was this something you did in your spare time before you made the video?
I'll be honest. I started watching yesterday's stream, and yeah, after about 50 minutes, I was just a bit like, "What is going on here? What the hell is this?"
Here's a talk about the Nuremberg trials. You're like, what?
Why?
Yeah, I was just getting to the point. I'm like, am I watching the right video here? Am I like, I'm on the right stream, aren't I? I've not like accidentally clicked on Smudcast 4 or something.
Yeah. It was an odd experience, and he was still chatting. He replied a second time, as if my attitude was like poor. I was like, dude, you wasted all my time. Do you want me to be happy about that? No. I'm going to explain to you what you did wrong. And here's some characters you can research to figure out what they actually did in the show, of their reaction to a wartime event, like killing off a village or whatever it was.
Hooray!
And he's like, no, attitude, he's not a nice person.
When you can't answer like a simple question, even though you made a 10-minute long video about the subject itself, there's just a kind of proof that like it wasn't really trying at all.
Yeah. But onto this video. Now, is Quintin going to be talking about actual documentaries, or is he talking about what I call soapumentaries?
There are various documentaries he references and various, as you said, soapumentaries. So it's a combination. But he does not make that distinction. He actually screws up the terms once. He's referring to, I think, Unsolved Mysteries as a movie. And I'm like, what?
I'm sorry?
Yeah. It was a mini-series in the 90s, I believe, and it wasn't
a mini-series. It was a very long-running series. I should know. I lived with my grandparents. I've watched nearly every single one of these things. There's just loads of them.
Yeah, and they're sensational. They're acted. Obviously, they even say they're acted while it's on the screen, and
the dramatization.
Yeah, they're not to be taken seriously, obviously. So I don't
just watch MASH. MASH is good.
MASH. Yeah, sure.
Monster MASH.
Not just MASH.
The monsters. There you go.
The monsters are also good. Documentary about American families in suburbia.
Well, because it's like, I've watched plenty of documentaries, and like I wouldn't class the World at War documentary on World War II in the same vein as Tiger King. They're two completely different things. World at War has Laurence Olivier as narrator, and has actually got really good stuff. The other one is a weirdo with a mullet with Carol Baskin. Just two completely different programs.
It's interesting how there are some versions of the documentary, like the 60 Minutes show, which technically is an investigative reporting style, but more interview heavy. And I remember they did an expose on the doctors of the COVID. They talked to Fauci and a bunch of other guys. And if you don't know anything about anything and you listen to that crap, you're like, oh, that's really informative. But if you actually pay attention to the news and you get your information online, half of this shit is either old, contradictory, or not relevant. And you sit there, I was visiting my parents and they were like, okay, this is like, oh my God, it's so bad in the States. If only they listened to Dr. Fauci. It's like they did listen to Dr. Fauci. Like,
It doesn't matter whether you listen to Fauci or not, because whatever you do, it's what Fauci said at some point.
And he changed his mind, 3 months later. It's like,
it's irrelevant what it doesn't matter what you do. Just do whatever Fauci will at some point say the exact thing that you're doing right now.
And there's
Dr. Fauci at some point in the 2 years has agreed with every single position that has ever existed known to man. It's like
I can't remember the name of the gentleman. He was a immunologist from Europe. I think he was from Germany. He was amazing. Like, he's really on the ball with everything. And he's done multiple interviews over the months. And he's one of the top experts in the world. He was talking about the idea of having this, he didn't quite agree with the rules by the American, was it the IPA? What was it, that group called?
CDC?
I think it's the FDA. I don't remember exactly which one, but it's along those lines, because it was all these rules to make any kind of booster shot takes a year or two. And the fact that Trump pushed it out the door so quickly probably wasn't the best idea. But if it was helping people, then he says, it could be good for a particular type of people, like the elderly and this and that. But there are all these side effects that they didn't have time to test for. And we're discovering them now because it's taken so long. That's why
we discovered them quite quickly. It was just said that, no, it's fine. There are no side effects. You're fine. Take it.
We now have thousands of examples of like debilitating diseases or permanent conditions.
In Germany, they're still swept under the rug. Like, no. There are no complications. Don't worry. There are no 500 people in a rural state haven't died because of the shot instead of the fucking disease.
Right.
Or the police can come for you if you dare to disagree with science.
Yeah, and now we're looking at a not a passport for traveling between countries based off COVID, but just to go out now in Canada. They're discussing this so that you know that.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're doing that in the UK as well. So
yeah, we Team 4 Lads warned about that a year ago.
They have it in France already.
All I know is when I said that there'd be vaccine passports to do stuff inside your own country, I was called a conspiracy theorist. Now I'm just called an idiot for not wanting one. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care.
All it takes is a basic rudimentary understanding of what booster shots are, how they work, why they're developed, and you'll understand not the business side of things, but just the actual practical side of having a bunch of certain kinds of strains of protein in your blood for a certain time of the year. And that's why some people like booster shots. But the ones that they've been developed, the mRNA versions, those just hang around. They're never going away. So, are they...
Well, yeah, what were you going to say, Smud? Sorry.
I was going to say, are they going to be useful within another week or two? Probably not. But...
Well, considering the fact that in the UK they're already talking about a third vaccine dose now needs to be done. Cost 2 isn't enough.
It's already the thing in Eastern Europe, like that you can sign up. It's not compulsory, but like you have to sign up. You can sign up for a third one, and you can choose which one is it, because you can switch between the ones. If you got like Pfizer, then you can now get like Moderna or something else.
That doesn't make any sense to me. And I've heard that people get the Moderna first, the Pfizer second. And you're like, wait a second, that's not how that works.
It's even better that because
don't
Hungarian
mix
government
your
here,
medications.
they try to advertise it that it doesn't matter which one you take, and we have 6 different vaccines to take. And now the European Union and America has decided that there's only a certain list of vaccines that if you take, you can come to the country. If you take anything else other than those, then you can't even come to the country.
Every-
So that's great. That's great.
Every country has their own policy. I saw Canadians trying to travel to Mexico. They got turned back because they didn't have whatever version of the vaccine that country approved of. So there's all kinds of crap happening right now. There's a slight increase or uptick in my country, at least, of daily people getting infected.
Well, what was it in the UK? Coincidentally, they're trying very desperately to get the 16 to 30-year-olds to have the vaccine. And they're trying to push that. And coincidentally, the age group that having the most COVID cases is the 16 to 30s group.
That's weird.
I mean, coincidentally. Also, 2 months ago, when they were trying to force the 30 to 45-year-olds to get the vaccine, the age group with the most COVID cases were the 30 to 45-year-olds. And, a couple of months before that, when they wanted the over 45s, it was them who had the most. So it's whichever group is in the news is the ones that are trying to push the vaccine onto. So
Well,
I just
vaccine basically works that they infect you with the virus, and then supposedly it's going to, in a way that it can create antigens.
At the end of the day, it's so blatantly obvious. But the whole damn thing with vaccines now is just they're going to be every single year because they make way too much money from it. They have spent way too much money on this stuff. There's so many contracts. It's just we all know it's happening, and no one's going to stop it. And
it's just burning your tax monies into the pockets of big pharma.
There is no way that you can say that all these vaccines are perfectly fine when in the UK, the people who are making the most money out of it are the government, because it's all their friends and families, companies who are making these vaccines. And it's like, right, okay. The health secretary should not have a massive share in Pfizer.
Yeah. And thanks that you're acknowledging that the side effects are so bad and people are dying from it, because the death toll of this so-called vaccine is of all of them is, what was it, 13 to 20 times higher than anything that would be allowed onto the market. Was it not this stuff?
Yeah.
But that's what happened. That's what happened in 2008 with the swine flu. They had a similar vaccine for it that had the similar side effects and had too many dead people within a month, which was about 25 or something.
The UK government's only just finished paying money to the families of people who died from the swine flu vaccine. I think about a year ago, or 2019. But at the end of the day, always remember. You were locked indoors because it's sacred. Any death was really heartbreaking and jarring, and it was terrible. The same people are now telling you to ignore people who died from the vaccine complications and saying it's a necessary sacrifice. Just remember that it's just not about anything. It's just about taking your rights, taking control of your entire lives, and creating a fucking slave system where you have no say or no nothing over anything that you do until the elite tells you. Because as Barack Obama did over the weekend, had 600 odd people for a birthday bash, no masks, didn't even have to have vaccines to attend. They're not bothered. They are blatantly thrown it in your face. And if you can't see it, then yeah, you deserve to have all your rights taken away from you and to live masked up and locked away whenever you need to, because you obviously can't think for yourself. So I don't want you on the streets, honestly. But anyway, no more COVID. Let's get on to documentaries.
Yes,
that would be an interesting documentary.
Oh God, we'll be here for the rest of our lives.
In the hopes that the world will return to sanity somewhat in 20 years, and China hasn't taken over the world and genocided everyone who's not a Han Chinese. I would be interested in seeing how history looks back on this time.
I'll tell you something now. There's going to be a lot of people having to explain that. No, it's going to be a lot like the Germans in the 50s. No, I wasn't a Nazi. There's going to be a lot of that. Hey, listen. I've cut.
I was just following orders. I was just giving these shots to people.
Hey,
I didn't know it was bad.
Hey, listen, I will say this, honestly, God, my dad has turned into one of the biggest fascists going. He honestly now believes that people who don't have the vaccines deserve to be put in camps with like symbols on their arms to show that they're not been vaccinated. That's my own father from this, and I'm like, wow, okay. He said it to me about it.
Well,
and I was like, right,
you
well,
know,
I know
you
where I
have to
stand.
be the Luke Skywalker in the story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's still good in him somewhere.
No, I'm completely done with him. I've not spoken to him after he had his massive rant.
Yeah,
with
this
me.
is the sequel trilogy now.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, I'm not interested.
Well, when I saw my old neighbors and some of their, actually one entire family of my neighbors were knocked out. They all went to the community center down the street and got whatever shot there was there. And they were out as if they had the flu, like within an hour or two. And I was like, what the hell? What happened? So I don't know what it was, their blood type or whatever, but the whole family is gone. They just collapsed. So they're better now, but that was like, holy shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, at least they weren't going to you, hey, Smud, if you don't get this vaccine, we want you to be locked in a camp.
No, they were saying how bad idea that was. They made them feel like crap. They were sick for a week, and even people who've gotten both shots are getting COVID. So
yeah.
So that is why it's not a vaccine.
Yeah, we've even been told.
If it was, you wouldn't have these high infection rates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of a vaccine.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, it doesn't matter. It really just. Oh well.
We had this in school, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, no, it's protein spikes in your blood.
But now suddenly it's everything. Your school knowledge from biology class doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, let's put it so we all know the same people who don't know what's going on were the same kids. But sir, when will I have to use this in the real world? Why are we learning this? I'll never have to use this ever. And it's like, wow, look at that. Imagine if you paid attention in school, you might know some stuff. But no, just watch your Love Island, eat your cheesy Watsits, and just sit in front of Netflix all day. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
You're doing fine. You're saving the world. Good for you.
And what science has known for 20 and more years about vitamin D suddenly is not to be mentioned anymore, because it actually shields you of getting sick or having hard symptoms from anything. Because it's the fuel for your immune system. And we also don't talk about
doctors left.
What?
To be honest with you, I'm surprised there's any doctors left, because all of medical history needs to be deleted, because science only existed in 2020.
Apparently,
it never existed before that.
Oh, they are trying to remove all knowledge of biology and especially in the realms of sexology, which researches the differences between the sexes. But it's also no mention of no proper mention or at all of these filters for people with allergies. These air filters with coal filters and UV lights in them, and HEPA filters. That slowly disinfect a room, like when you have allergies, even against house dust. People with really compromised immune systems, they have to keep these running in their apartments all the time. And these things also get rid of, due to the UV light in them, of fungi in the air and some viruses, because those also fall apart if they get too much UV. And which is why it's said that sunlight is the best disinfectant. And there had been some treatments with what did I do? It was an experimental treatment in I think last year or the year before, where they put a UV lamp into your windpipe and to light out and disinfect your lungs that way. And
I just thought they were trying to make you into a miniature lighthouse.
Oh no! And it did have a significant effect apparently. And the moment Trump mentioned it, the whole project was just shoved under the rug.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
to prove,
well.
just to say Trump is wrong. Nothing like this exists.
Oh, yeah.
And Siemens, which is a company name that probably rings a bell outside of Germany, they made entire room concepts and proposed them to the federal government about how to set up air filtration systems for schools and hospitals and companies, big office spaces, etc. That had these allergy filters in them, so they could constantly filter through the air and potentially kill viruses in the air. The federal government was not interested. The federal government is not interested in virus-free air, is not interested in closing the border to really stop any spread worldwide. The government is interested in spreading in spreading masks that help stave off bacteria but not viruses, and the government is interested in selling vaccines that do not immunize but just give you shitty symptoms.
Okay, guys.
None of this sounds serious.
Let's get on with the video.
Fuck off.
Here's Taker 610. Thank you. Vaccines can spur more mutations as well. That is another factor for a booster shot, which is a little questionable. But yes, these are all realities we have to deal with in the past few months. Anyway, 24 minutes of Quintin. Here we go.
All right.
This is sponsored by Raycon. Earbuds that by officials that he was actually Nicholas Barkley, a 13-year-old who had gone missing 3 years earlier. Bordeaux and Barkley had little in common. Bordeaux's eyes were not the right color, and he had a noticeable French accent, implying that he had been in the country for more than 3 years. Despite this, he was able to convince the family of the missing child that he was, in fact, their little boy. He was shipped to America and lived as 17-year-old Nicholas Barkley for the next 5 months, before his coup was discovered by local officials. In the documentary, heavy scrutiny is put on the family for this. How, it is wondered, could they blindly accept that this 24-year-old Frenchman was their missing teenage son, when all evidence suggested otherwise? Why would they give him plentiful information about their family tree, which he then used to trick American officials into believing his story? Was it possible they knew all along that this couldn't be their son, and that they had ulterior motives in helping support his story? Throughout the story, Frederick recalls feeling scared of the family, as he realized that there was something afoot that they just weren't telling him. It was possible, he realized, that the disappearance of Nicholas Barkley was caused by one of the members of the family, and that they knowingly fed into his fib in order to give themselves an alibi.
Just a question. Did we miss from skipping, did we miss the intro sentence to all of this? Because I'm confused what's happening.
Oh, he's talking about the film. It's called The Imposter. And this is his summary of the events of what's happening in the film so far.
The movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's not it's a documentary film. So it's like watching a movie, which movies are supposed to be entertaining first. So this is a documentary of real life events with a movie element to it. So it's not an actual documentary.
Isn't it what we call a dramatization?
Yes, I would say when you have your 2 points of a story are flipped, where it's entertainment first, teaching next.
Oh, it's when you have a movie like this, I would rather call it inspired by real events. Like all these bad horror movies are inspired by real events, like someone died mysteriously, and that's all the core of the story.
Yeah, so there's, as we saw, really old TV footage. There's interviews of like 10 years ago when they did the film of people at that point in their life. So there's all these stories, and they're making it look like everyone believes this kid to be a long lost son or whatever. but the name of the film is called The Imposter. So, I mean, the mystery's already out of the bag. You don't have to guess what's going to happen. So I don't see what
Plot twist: the real imposter is the family.
Yeah, the whole family's a sham. They're Asians.
The real imposters are the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. It's about family.
Sometimes all too true.
It's about family. Well,
That's
yeah,
what's so
literally.
powerful about it.
If they wanted police to believe that their son was still alive, so his disappearance would not be properly looked into. Extensive doubt is then put into the lives and stories of every member of the Barkley family, and great speculation is made over which one of them was most likely to commit murder. And then, in the final moments of the film, a small detail is lightly dropped in our laps. Frederick Bourdieu is a pathological liar. He's a man who not only impersonated a missing child, but then went back to France and did it a second time, and then a third time, and then a fourth time. Alongside this, he would constantly attempt to provide fake leads about other missing children to other grieving families, even while sitting in prison for previous attempts at this, and all of this because he craved attention.
Was he doing Michael Jackson? What was going on there?
I don't know. What Quintin is describing is just a very blatant form of a pathological liar. But yeah, we have this very in more subtle ways with his political friends all the time, because they can't stop lying and they can't stop making shit up about other people while they play victim. It's just a different manifestation, different words. Different version of it, different style of pathological lying for different reasons.
Well, I just find it funny that Quintin's like, oh, they just dropped this bomb on us. It's like, well, there has to be something to this if it's called The Imposter, and for the 80% of the film, they're all just agreeing with everyone. Oh, yes, this is our lost son. Yes, he is here now. We missed him. How did this happen? Da 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 da. It's like, yes. When's it going to turn? When's the story going to shift in another angle? So Quintin's like, oh my God, he's a pathological liar. It's like, thank you, Quintin. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. And so how does this documentary lie to you?
We'll get there.
This is revealed moments before the credits roll. You end up feeling mad about how this documentary has presented.
Again, this is not a documentary. This is a documentary film. If you've ever watched a documentary on TLC or A&E or any of those other arts channels where people do investigative research and they talk about the natural habitat of this or that, or they interview some cold case file or whatever, it's very, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. It's just facts. This is not that kind of documentary. This is a film based off real characters, real people. They're interviewing them based off real TV footage from 20, 30 years ago. And it's made to give you a sense of, or oh my God, or whatever the feeling is. And that's the point.
Because this is a, like I said, there's documentaries, then there's soapumentaries. This is just a docu-film.
I could make the same argument for a murder mystery story, because it lies to you for the first 80%. You don't know. I thought it was going to be the maid, but it ended up being the wife. It's like, yeah, that's how fiction works with mysteries. You are led up the garden path.
No, Smud, it's not that. I thought it was going to be this guy, but then I remembered who's the most famous actor who's not the main character, and it's usually that person.
Yeah, the guy who's got the contract just for that episode. He must be him. It is.
Yeah. Wow, what a shocker.
Yeah, that was like every Law and Order episode for the past 7 years, I think.
Well, it's whenever we used to watch Murder, She Wrote, we always used to look for whoever was the most famous person at the time. And it's like, yeah, it's that person. Oh my God, it was that person. How crazy!
Right. So, what
On this
Quintin-
episode of Columbo, it stars Leonard Nimoy.
I
Oh
was
no,
just
he's the
about to say
murderer.
Columbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where they tell you who did it in the first 5 minutes. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it goes like it'll tell you, but you just have to look at the credits, the opening credits, and you're like, oh, it's going to be this person. It's like if you watch, I don't know, say Law and Order, and then you just see Johnny Depp, and you're like, well, it's obviously either he's going to be the murderer, or he's going to be in something so small that there's no point in them even putting it up there other than use his name. So, hey ho.
All right.
Invented all of. Why have the filmmakers left out this crucial detail and tricked us into believing that this
didn't
random
leave it out.
grieving
It was
family
part-
with a missing
Yeah.
13-year-old
So Mark is
Stop! One of you pressed the pause.
so Mark just made a great point. Quintin was wondering why the detail was missed. It's like it wasn't. It was put in there till the end because they had to make it interesting. They had to give us something to work with.
Because uncredited co-director was M. Night Shyamalan.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're gonna make a movie for theaters that happens to be a documentary and has to have some suspense or something, you gotta hold
This
back.
build up, I feel like it's gonna pay off because of this. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta hold
Wait.
something back. You can't just be like amazing thing right the first 5 minutes. Oh, he's fake. And you're like, oh, and then what?
Yeah, but the thing is, because it's one of those things that goes like, oh, by the way, this guy's a pathological liar. It's like, right, so we know he lied about it then. So what's the point of carrying on with like hearing anything?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can then throughout the documentary work yourself up to his biggest lie.
Maybe.
I'm
From all the cases,
assuming,
That could
from all
work,
the
yeah.
things he did.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the main drive of this story is how people figured out his lies. Not the fact that we had to find out whether he was lying, but how people saw through it, like how investigators found out, how the family found out with stuff. I assume that's what most of it was with stuff like this.
Right.
It's not about the end result.
I think-
It's about the how they got there.
I think the problem lies again with a lot of the videos we cover. It's in the title. Because if the title says this is a video about an imposter, you're like, oh. And 80% of that or 90% of that film is a son being welcomed back to his family. You're like, how is he an imposter? Everything looks great.
Yeah. This is like Quintin, what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's implied. Then, well, what's left is that he is the son of the family. And that's not shouldn't be too hard to figure out if everything else seems fine. What I want to say is there is a type of documentary that I personally dislike that starts with a simple question.
How did Hitler gain power?
What? And then for an hour, it drivels about 5 other topics, and only at the end then states the simple fact for 3 sentences that could have been answered in the beginning. And
It's like
I know that's
the
a
one
style of making documentaries, and I hate it.
It's like
If you
those.
want the types of documentaries I like is when you do some archaeological thing and you describe this thing and then that thing and then the implications of that and this together, and not this mystery documentary shit.
Yeah, with the archaeological stuff, I always remember I was watching one in the UK, and this guy was going around with like, "Oh, are these giants' bones?" And like they do all this stuff, and it just ended with, "We may never know." It's like, what? No.
Well, that's not a documentary. Documentary is here are the facts, and you make it a little bit digestible. Have some nice pictures to it, and
They're classed as documentaries. They're classed as documentaries.
Yeah, just be matter of fact, be educational, because this docutainment is real, is cancer on the mind.
All right.
Docutainment. Yeah, that's a good way.
I like that one too. Here's a donation from How Documentaries Lie to You. Thank you, sir. Let me guess. This guy's thesis is going to be documentaries lie to you by not showing you things that would be convenient for my politics. I don't even think it's a political thing. I really think that Quintin is just making a mountain out of a molehill.
I really think Quintin should just probably stick to Blue's Clues.
You know what? If he thinks documentaries are his favorite type of media, and he loves Blue's Clues, there's some disconnect here between learning and what the hell you did as a child. Because there's something like I watch kids shows, but I don't remember them. Like I don't remember what I learned from them because I read books and I went to school.
I learned that tubby custard looks a lot better than it actually tastes. That's about it. After I watched the Teletubbies when I was 3.5 years old.
Anyway, let's keep going.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to add.
We're at the bad guys in this story of this horrible monster. I think about this a lot.
Really?
And the answer I've come to is that the imposter shouldn't be looked at as a commentary on cold cases or tragedies or anything like that you might otherwise expect, but instead as a piece that asks you to question the very format you have been buying into during its extensive runtime.
Okay, so we do this all the time with everything we watch or play. We go, wait a second, that doesn't feel like an RPG. That doesn't feel like a murder mystery. That doesn't feel like an action adventure. It's jumping into another genre. It's doing something like this other genre or whatever. So that's fine, but is that to be expected from your video game, from your documentary expose, from your whatever? So you can mix these genres. You can make entertainment out of documentaries. I don't see anything personally wrong with that. It's when the focus...
You know what? I'm really thinking that he's not got the point of this documentary, The Imposter. I think he believes that it's... I don't think he understands that it's the finding out how he was and seeing through the lies of the imposter rather than the stuff afterwards. Do you know what I mean? It feels like this sort of thing is how these people found out about him being an imposter, how the investigators found out this guy was an imposter.
Right.
Not about the fact that it was like, oh, how did they not believe he was an imposter? It's like, no, it's about the finding out stuff. It's not about whether he was or not. It was the finding out stuff. It's like when I used to watch, Medical Detectives with my grandparents. It wasn't about, whether the person was guilty or not. It was how the police found out he was guilty, what they used to find the culprit was guilty, what techniques they used.
Mm-hmm.
You knew pretty much quickly on who it was. It was just the fact that you just had to find out, like, what techniques? How did they find this blood? What did they do to search this blood? How did they look up stuff? How did they find stuff?
Yeah.
How did the killer mess up?
Yeah, and for people who, because this whole imposter thing, pathological lying thing, is what you often see in abusive relationships as well. You see parts of it there, and the hardest thing is that even this is that is the same from crime investigators as well. You can be 99% sure you know who is the culprit. And 20 people can be 99% sure who is the culprit. The problem is, in the case of the justice system, and oftentimes in private circles as well, how do you prove it? And that's the hard part. Because in the justice system, you need to prove it in order to convict someone. In private circles, you need to prove it to people who don't want it to be true. Sometimes, some of those people you can ignore, but some people are too important for your life that you have to try. You can't not try, and that is that. And for that, it is vital to know how that can be done.
I would like to compare films that do either a plot twist or a twist reveal at the end, which undermine the entire fiction of what you just watched. And that happens a lot. I don't know why, filmmakers like doing this or storytellers do this, but it would have the same effect.
What a twist!
Yeah, the same effect that Quintin, I think, is referring to, because it sort of destroys the narrative. And the two I can think of right now are Memento and The Book of Eli.
Oh.
Those two movies, as much as I enjoyed watching them, once you get to the end, you're like, wait a second. You're trying to tell me this guy was blind the entire time? There's no way.
Yeah. There's literally not a... No. Book of Eli.
Or is it
Book
like
of
the
Eli
last
is-
copy of the Bible?
Yeah, I just... Also, no one knows how to read Braille. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So there's a lot of things that just make the rest of what you just experienced kind of be like an insult to your intelligence. And that is being led up the garden path, as I like to say in murder mysteries, because in a typical video or movie, there's only one linear path. There's no multiple plots. There's just one. So with Memento, it's the guy undermines, I can't remember his name, the detective. He undermines his entire story or his entire character, because he says, I just need to kill a person to feel better in that moment. And then he's going to forget that moment 10 minutes later. And it's like, okay, you are now crazy. You are a murderer, but you don't even know it because your short-term memory goes away. So that was like, oh my God, that's horrific. Now I hate this film. Now I hate this guy, because everything I saw was this desperate man trying to find the murderer of his wife, and we never got the answer to that. He turned into a murderer himself, and sadly he'll never know. He'll constantly keep to the end of his days. He'll never stop looking for his wife's murderer, and that he became a murderer in the process.
It's a movie you can really only watch once.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Yeah.
As beautiful as it was done, and brilliant as it was to put together, horrible film. Anyway, let's keep going. Here's 2Tim505. Thank you, sir. Idris Elba is going to be Knuckles in the Sonic 2 movie. Wow.
Because echidnas are black?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Documentary style of choosing a voice, a key person in the story, and latching onto their perspective obsessively as the one worth telling, even if it happens to be the most empirically untrustable one in a story.
That's irrelevant.
Stop. Rewind.
What?
Haha.
Rewind.
VHS tape.
Is he like doing the Star Trek thing with the computer, pause, computer, voice activated
I'm waiting for
VHS.
Quirky.
I'm waiting for Quintin Headroom.
I'm just... When is he going to get hate mail again?
Okay.
From his OnlyFan?
Oh, God. Here's...
Listen, I'm just waiting. I've sent plenty in the last couple of months. He's got to get some at some point.
Oh, you need to write letters.
Here's...
I write letters, attach them to pigeons, just send them out my window. That's how old-fashioned I am.
That's not how pigeons work, but okay.
Here's a donation from Hawk Pissed on My Wife. Thank you. Imagine a kid's show about Hans Landa in the style of Blue's Clues, but instead of small lost objects, Hans looks for Jews with the help of Blue. We'll call it Jews Clues.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sure a lot of Labour voters will like it. I'm sure a lot of Labour MPs would like it.
Okay.
Jeremy Corbyn is like, finally, a show for me.
Jeremy Corbyn's like sweating nervously, like really excited. Well, not nervously, but like he's like really aroused. Going, ooh.
Police call.
Margaret, get the VCR recorder.
Anyways,
We're gonna
off
sell
real
some
quick.
Jews clues.
let's watch this VHS of Quintin that's voice activated. Okay.
I want to talk about unsolved mysteries.
Okay, so he just jumped.
No. Okay. Unsolved mysteries. Right. Grandma, I know you're looking down on me because you're still stuck up that tree, but we're gonna sort out. I hope I do you well and proud with Unsolved Mysteries. I watched plenty of these, so let's do this.
All right.
I've wanted to talk about this show for a very long time, and that's the case for a lot of reasons. Unsolved Mysteries influenced the future of television and general informational media.
Really? Did it?
Yeah, I was about to pause just then. No, but no.
It was just a weird, creepy show after, like, the X-Files or something.
It was a man in a trench coat.
This is a story about a bunch of people that went late one night to a car park and never seen again. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like that these. There's also another version of Unsolved Mysteries, which was who was it hosted by?
Jonathan Frakes?
I can't remember. No, that's
that
no, that was Fact or Fiction that Jonathan Frakes did. Where it was like you had to find out which story was true or not.
Right. Yeah. Same idea. Very similar, actually, because they give you stories.
Yeah, but it was made. But the one that I'm thinking of, the Unsolved Mysteries one, he was like in not a call center, but in like a NASA HQ thing, and you could ring in to help the Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh.
But it was still called Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, and with the fact or fiction thing, the German localization re-Christian that show X Factor, which leads to some confusion when Germans talk about that with English people, because there's an actual English show called X Factor that's something completely different.
I think you're talking about Cold Case Files, I think. I'm trying to remember, because I used to watch some of these, because I used to like true crime.
Yeah. When you live with pensioners, you sort of go through so many of them. You sort of they all merge together because they're all incredibly similar.
Yeah.
But they've all got that slight difference. But yeah, with Unsolved Mysteries, there's a lot of really weird stuff, and it's the fact that they're unsolved. So I don't know what you're looking for out of them. It's like it leaves you up to your interpretation of what happens.
Yeah, you'd have to get into the history of the 90s and which shows influenced other future shows. You could argue that this was the seminal work that influenced other shows to be like Unsolved Mysteries. The same way, I would say Millennium was the more authentic, I wouldn't say horror show, but it was one of those shows which actually, to me, made me feel scared. Something very weird and creepy was going on in that show, as opposed to like The Outer Limits in the 60s and 70s, where it was like that was just weird and creepy. And then the
Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone, yeah. The Outer Limits in the 80s and 90s were just creepy. They were just like, that's kind of weird. I don't quite believe that.
Yeah, the Outer Limits in the Twilight, when they remade it, that they were just like.
It was basically Harlan Ellison and friends just shitting out scripts for fun. Because
the only one that I ever remember, I can't remember if it was Outer Limits or Twilight Zone, and the reason why it got me was because it was such a weird fucking story. It's two young lads go and try and find their dad at a warehouse where he's been doing experiments, and his dad's grown things that make if you feed it to animals, it makes them bigger. So he'd try and make like cows bigger for like more meat. Anyway, he's gone missing, and there's loads of there's this creaking that you can hear around, like floorboards creaking. And as the kids go further into it, they come across this dead cat that's like as big as a dog, and then you see this dog that's like as big as a cow that's dead. And as they keep going, this lift comes down, which takes them to the other room, where they expect to see their dad. But on it is actually this giant fucking spider that grabs both the kids and eats them alive. And I just went, what the fuck has just happened? This is just I was just like, hang on. And it was just like, I was like, so that was your shocking thing? So it's like, oh yeah, the spider ate the dad and it killed the cat and the dog. And yeah, I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's not creepy. That's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, the audience Fact or fiction? What do you think about this story?
It was a lie. You made it up.
It could be a fact.
Here's a story of a little virus that travels around the world and how lockdown solved it. Fact or fiction? It was fiction. It was a lie. We made it up.
You mean we live in an Outer Limits episode?
Yeah.
I'm just expecting Jonathan Frakes to come like pass me on a bicycle and go, "It was a lie. It was all a joke. The reality you live in."
That's what I want him to do in Picard. He just pops up. It's like, yeah.
This is not real, Picard. You're on a holodeck.
This is just CBS having fun.
You've been on a holodeck all along.
Tax evasion. That's
Have you seen like the compilation video that's like just like a minute long of him going, "Nope, we made it up and all that lies." I just want that half of the Picard episode.
I haven't seen that.
It's just him going,
just made it up.
We lied. No, we lied. We made it. We made it up.
Riot.
Complete fiction. That was just a writer. Complete fabrication.
I want the end of Enterprise where it's Jonathan Frakes and Rena
Oh
Sirtis,
yeah.
and they're just one holodeck experience. Wow, that was weird. I don't think Picard actually did that. Yeah, I know. It was just for fun. What do you think of my Holo novel?
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
Yeah. Just...
Why are the Borg so useless in your program? That's unbelievable.
No, I just want it to end, and it's actually Captain Archer going, "This holodeck thing seems really weird. It makes these weird predictions of the future. I think it's busted. Let's never use this ever again."
Or Q just snaps his fingers going, "That was dumb."
I
would watch the show if it had that ending.
Fucking great.
The last the last 4 seconds was just Q going, "Oh, that was retarded." Snap.
This timeline is dumb.
No, Picard wakes up in the bed. Q is next to him.
I guess we have to eliminate humanity now. They've gone dumb. It's like, okay.
Let's just redo the Farpoint Station thing again.
Yeah.
That was more fun.
The last episode is just called the very final episode of any Star Trek is just called All Bad Thing. It's just Q just going, "Oh God, we really should have just ended it years ago."
All right.
Oh.
Here's a donation from Quintin Kyle Coomer. All right.
Quintin Kyle Coomer.
This man also made a 4-hour video detailing every episode of the Nickelodeon kids show iCarly. Allegedly, he did so with his pants on, but I remain unconvinced. Can't imagine what he could have to say about documentaries. So far,
I can't imagine what else you would be wearing.
Well, so far his definition of documentary is 0 for 2 because that movie was a film. It wasn't a documentary, and this one is a TV show, which embellishes some cold case files, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for entertainment purposes. So.
Yeah, it is real. It is real docutainment. What is this definition of pants?
Oh,
well, the definition of pants. You wear at some point
so
that Quintin wasn't wearing watching iCarly.
So long as he can find a sponsor, then he'll talk about pants. So
okay,
yeah.
I wanted to make this video because I want to talk about pants for a very long time.
Don't worry. Get to the end of this video, you'll find out what he's trying to sell. So don't worry.
Hooray!
In a
I'm
way
not going to buy it,
almost
but
impossible
hooray!
to measure. Pretty much any true crime documentary show that you can watch today, Forensic Files, The First 48, Sex and Murder, Forensic Files 2, Forensic Files 3D, they all have unsolved mysteries to thank for the basic genealogy of their content. Now, there are two ways to look at unsolved mysteries, both equally valid but slightly...
Yes, there are two ways. You can use your left or your right eye, and you can use them both together. So, yeah.
Yeah, then you can have depth perception.
Mm-hmm. Wear some glasses.
And watch things.
Look at it through your fingers. Yeah, look at it through your fingers. Yeah, watch in 3D.
Honestly, guys, after X-Files and watching Millennium, I was good for the night. That was more than enough creepy, weird stuff. And seeing this come on after, I was like, it's not going to work. You've already been freaked the hell out.
Too dry.
It's
You
too
can't end
silly.
with the dry. You can't end with the dry stuff.
Yeah, you start with
dry
this,
stuff.
and then you go into X-Files, and then you go into Millennium, because that's where it ramps up. Millennium got me. That creeped me out. I don't know why it did as a kid, but yeah, couldn't tell you why. Have to rewatch that.
Exclusive. Here's take 1. Unsolved Mysteries was an ABC to use the massive power and influence of television to solve crimes and cold cases around the country.
Really?
This was back when the world was generally unconnected, and it was pretty easy to commit a crime in an obscure place and then simply slip off and start.
No, it wasn't. No.
It's pretty much the same
wasn't.
today. If you
No, but it's not. But it's not. Even back in the 70s, it was quite difficult to commit a crime and just slip off.
No, it was just the Wild West.
I just mean
just ride away to the next town.
all you need to do for this level of slipping away is not carry your phone with you.
No, Wisp. No, they found a man hiding in Alaska in the 80s.
Hawk,
who had committed murder.
Hawk. Okay, you misunderstand. I am not agreeing with Quintin here. I'm only saying, if you want at least that level of being able to slip away as you had in the 70s. Don't wear a tracking bug on you.
I thought you were going to say don't wear pants, but enough about Quintin.
Well, if you don't wear pants, you have less space to wear your tracking bug that you call a smartphone.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, it's
the thing is that if you have that, all you need to do is look up data retention, and you know who has been at the time of the crime or in their general area, and then you just file for everyone and look for everyone and just say, oh, that's the culprit.
Yeah.
So if you don't have your bug with you while you commit the crime, that's at least less likely to be found. But this is
no. But the thing is, okay, right, yeah. But what I'm saying is, back in those days, it wasn't easier to commit. This is not the medieval times where there is no police force. There is a police force. There's a massive paper trail with stuff, right? But also, people weren't on their phones. People were noticing other people people weren't just fixated on one thing, like looking down at their phones all day. Also, this idea that you could just murder someone in a sleepy town and then disappear. What, in a town where most people knew who was who and knew most people's movements? Listen, I've watched a hell of a lot of fucking murder mysteries shows that were quite clearly made in the 90s and late 80s, but talk about old cases in the 60s and 70s that they solved. They were solving murders, finding one arm in an alligator-infested swamp, and finding the guy who had fled to Washington State out of Florida. They were finding people all the time. You weren't just slipping away in the middle of the night and to never, like what Mark says, like the Wild West. You just rode from one town to another like a bunch of wild Mexicans pillaging the landscape.
Yeah, but in that regard, you underestimate medieval times. People were trying to clear up crimes against the people of their little feudal pocket.
Yeah, but Wisp, if when you're in medieval Europe, you really could just ride anywhere. Even in the United Kingdom, even up until the 1700s, you still had flipping highwaymen that could just ride anywhere. Because it took 3 days to get anywhere, and you could just slip away. That was not the case in the 20th century. The minute that there became, actual police forces with dedicated departments looking for stuff, crime became a hell of a lot harder.
The thing is, in medieval times, if you go someplace else, you will be the one who's not from here, and everybody will know that guy is not from here. Why is he here?
I know. Yes, I know.
And when then
Quintin only compared like the 20 or 30 years ago system to this one.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is you come. Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
I'm just saying, if then the King's Men come around, or whatever local lord you have, and ask around, hey, we're looking for a guy. Has there been anyone here who's not from here? And they say, yeah, there was one guy who was not from here. He went that way. Because everybody knows each other, because people in medieval times barely traveled. So
yeah.
It wasn't that easy to hide unless you hide in some abandoned bear cave or something.
Yeah, there's a lot more of those in the right. But what I'm saying is like the 60s and 70s weren't like the medieval times where you could just travel anywhere, like, and be able to get away from, like, because, like, yeah, you had feudal kingdoms. You could reach the end of the kingdom. Like, if you're trying to leave America, you've got to leave through airport. And then that's going to be suspicious because there'll be a log of that. Whereas in medieval times, you could flee places quite easier.
Okay, I agree with Eagle Dreamer.
It wasn't difficult to flee Luxembourg in 1238. It's quite difficult to flee America in 1977 without a fucking trail.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to say.
There are murder mysteries set in medieval times, and they were actually on TV, so you could watch them.
Yeah.
One of them was called Brother Cadfael. That was in the 12th century, and kind of, it always makes me think back to that Sean Connery film, The Way of the Rose, or something like that.
Yes.
Yep.
The Name of the Rose.
Name of the Rose. There you go.
Yes.
So they do exist, but very rare.
Yeah, I understand that. All I'm trying to say is.
Oh, we once in a while find a Moorleiche, a swamp corpse kind of. And do carbon testing, and it turns out, that's from the 13th century, and we had here this document from then that we still have archived in some museum that talks about a woman who went missing after being raped or something, and that's the woman, and 700 years later we solved the case.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is this idea that you could just sneak away in America. It's a bit like that comes from a misconception of, like, I know America's large, but America is very, very, very connected with stuff. Down to a lot of, like, minuscule things. What I'm saying is, like, if you killed someone in Luxembourg and need to escape Luxembourg in the 12th century, you don't need a passport to leave the border. You can sneak out. Whereas in America, it's a bit like unless you're near, like, the border between, like, America and Mexico, you're gonna need either a plane ticket or some sort of, like, thing to get through.
All right.
And it's like
I used to have like a friend from New York, and like she did like occasional trips to Canada. I think at Niagara Falls, and
Niagara Falls.
Niagara, yeah. I'm sorry. Like border control back to US was like quite hectic.
Yeah. And anyway, I agree with Ego Dreamer. We need medieval CSI, or hey, just make a reenactment show where we just word by word the what are you doing, Paul?
Medieval. I'm doing the medieval CSI theme tune instead of who are you. It's whom art thou.
Okay. No, or you could. Oh, this. Oh God, I'm giving Netflix ideas. You could make a literal reenactment of the court cases of the Inquisition, documented in the Hexenhammer. That would be very, very dark entertainment.
They already did that. It's called Monty Python.
Anyway, guys, it's back on topic, okay?
I'm not talking.
We were still on topic. We were talking about disappearing.
All right, well, let's get back to the video then, because that's too much rambling. All right.
And started without anyone raising an eye. Unsolved Mysteries thus took these cases and elevated them to worldwide recognition.
Really?
Tuning in for the show became a common occurrence for people of all ages, as audiences...
Was this syndicated in Europe, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Was it just in the
China,
credits or
Japan, like it really? I don't know. I doubt it, but
You know, it was in Europe.
okay.
I should know. I'm in Europe. I watched it.
something? You're not
It
in
was.
Europe. You're
I saw
on
it
that
as well.
bloody heretic island.
Yeah.
Oh, Crimea River.
All the time, you people say, mean
Who are you
continental
calling
Europe
you
when you say
people?
Europe, but
Who are you
now
calling
you are
you
part of
people?
Europe. When something good happens, you're part of Europe. Awesome.
When something good happens in Europe, okay then. The only time any good happened to Europe was when we went over there twice in the last century. But yeah, no, it was it was syndicated here, but it was on because Channel 5 in the UK is run by partly by an American company. They had like
Yeah.
channels like 5 Star and 5 something else. And
Right.
it used to be on those sort of things.
Because it wouldn't be on standard programming. It wouldn't just be on cable.
Yeah.
Because who cares about
It
American
wouldn't be on the
crime?
BBC.
Yeah, it wouldn't be there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on the. We had what is it, Crime Watch and other stuff
Yeah.
to deal with our own things.
So I think there was
But
what was
what I
that?
always used to laugh about is I could tell it was from the 80s because everyone had those stupid mullets and silly mustaches that only exist in that small time frame.
Because I do remember an actual show. I can't remember the name of it. It was in the 80s and 90s, where they were looking for fugitives. And I don't know if it was Cops or something like that, but it was a show like that, where it was all it was all current. So they were using TV and talking about people that committed a crime in this area, and they were using it to help find those people. So
yeah, because in the UK we had a show called Crime Watch that did that,
yeah, it was
where
like,
people could ring in if they'd seen people.
yeah, they had the number at the end of the segment. If you know anyone about blah blah blah, here's our number.
Yeah. I think most countries have.
Ironically, the minute that BBC cancelled that, black representation on TV dropped 80%.
Aww.
That was a very bad joke, but okay, let's carry on.
I got it.
I know you got it. I was waiting for Mark, but he's obviously off somewhere else.
Yeah, but I think most countries got shows like this. The German equivalent was called Aktenzeichen XY.
No, what else even?
Aktenzeichen XY.
Why does it sound like your language is just perpetually angry at everything in the world?
You haven't heard Russian lately. Because we are the Russians are Russian is the language that sounds like complaining all the time, while German is I've been mostly told it sounds like barking all the time.
No, German is constantly angry.
Well,
Russian is just
German.
all the Slavic languages. They're just like dumb.
The Slavic languages are really slurred because of all the alcohol.
Yeah, alcoholic.
Okay. No, it just means case number XY.
No. But yeah, it's. Anyway, let's keep watching about Unsolved Mysteries and how they lied to you somehow.
all right.
Became obsessed with the idea that they could help solve a mystery. And in enough cases for it to be impressive, the show's broadcasts did lead to the identification and arrest of dangerous people all across America. Unsolved Mysteries.
So, Quintin, therefore, the show was at least partially successful in helping bring criminals to justice.
Yeah. Every episode I remember of Unsolved Mysteries had an update segment where it told you about a previous episode, and they got some information and how it had helped out with the case.
So bravo, show. Good for you.
Oh no, we only sold like 10% of the Unsolved Mysteries. Well, that's 10% more than we would have got without the show.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
How is that a bad thing? I'm not sure, but okay, Quintin.
How dare we solve those Unsolved Mysteries? Why? I can't believe the information.
With the goal of bringing
kept
people
Unsolved
together
Mysteries.
and accomplishing great things.
Unsolved mysteries are really just conspiracy theories. Why would you believe in them? If they were real, they would have been solved, right?
Yeah, He's already sound like a fucking idiot to me, and
I'd just be happy if you turned down the music a bit.
Documentaries can't melt steel beams.
Documentaries can't pilot planes. There's no way.
It's an unsolved mystery.
It's an unsolved mystery.
Documentaries are obviously flat and hollow, and the sun revolves around them. They're not round.
Documentaries Lie. There was no M. Oh god, I can forget what was that? What was that plane that went missing?
With the Bermuda Triangle planes?
A couple of years ago.
The one that was
the one that the M.
Yeah,
was it like M3470 or something like that?
Was it the Philippines? Where was that?
Yeah, in the Philippines or something like that. I'm just imagining Quintin going. It turns out it was Documentaries that made that plane disappear. If they didn't make a documentary, that plane would never have disappeared. It lied to you.
If there were no documentaries, bad things wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Because if we don't know about the bad things, then they don't exist.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, this video.
All right.
Time and time again, the show overwhelmingly had a positive influence on the world and the stories it covered. Okay, so here's take 2 about the show. Unsolved Mysteries was middle-class fear-baiting designed to boost ratings. The coverage given to any specific segment was not bound by if the story was good journalism or if it was even true, but instead by how flashy it could seem when presented within the given format. Here's a theoretical question for you. Let's say you're a director, and you arrive at a location of a supposed story for the show. However, when you look into it, you quickly deduce that everything you've been told up to this point is bunk. Either the story is a massive hoax, or it's been overwhelmingly solved ages ago and people just don't find the answer satisfying. Well, if that's the case, you're shit out of luck, because you work for a show called Unsolved Mysteries. You have an ultimate duty to present the story in a way that makes it seem like there is something of interest in the case. And the way that the show ultimately accomplishes this is by structuring itself off of testimony, and then choosing to never question what is said, and presumably to leave
those are earrings
on the editing room floor. Stories the show would report on were often so outlandish and improbable that even Robert Stack was known to jokingly roast the crew for the material that they handed over to him.
Hi, excuse me.
Oh, hi.
How many chocolates have you eaten already?
Oh, I had a whole bunch. Why?
Really? A whole bunch. Because those are Dr. Watson's love potions.
Love potions? What's that?
Charlie was already halfway to paradise and probably could have left Dr. Watson's love drops on the mantle. But Charlie wasn't taking any chances.
Oh, chocolate hearts.
In between.
Listen, we've all given girls roofies. It's perfectly fine. What's so strange about this story? Oh wait, I said that out loud. Oh god. Yeah, okay, but seriously, okay. Some of them were stupid.
Yeah. That's
okay. They lied to you.
They embellished many stories. Yes, this is true.
Look at these love potions. I don't know. They might have been really good fucking sweets. I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. Women be crazy. I don't know.
Yes, there are drugs that do this to you. So
yeah, you never know what these things are, and it's like, oh, it could really be like, yeah, I just gave these girls sweets, and for some reason, after they had the sweets, they really started to like me. But probably because I was feeding them, and women like being fed. I don't know. They're like cats. They just want attention every now and again. It's really weird.
Yeah, well, again, this was on after the X-Files and Millennium, so
this is on in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's
and after that, I think it was Cops. It was kind of like this weird combination. It's just like,
yeah, but also it's like they're lying to you. Are they? It's supposedly unsolved mysteries. Oh no, it's not been solved. Make up your own mind.
Yeah.
How is that lying to you?
between
if you want to
honest
believe it's real,
investigations
how's it a
and
lie?
criminal mysteries, the show would insert stories with hauntings, the paranormal, UFOs, and of course, these could be the most hilarious and impossible to believe, but they would keep people watching. But even many of the other stories, which are considered to be more reputable, turn out to be heavily filled with misinformation when you actually look into them. It's amazing how many episodes of the show come to conclusions with such confidence, and yet those conclusions have been made by essentially no other reputable person ever.
It's as if it's not a documentary, Quintin.
What the fuck is this?
What?
It's
Like, what?
Is he confused about the medium?
I guess. I don't know. This genre is very specific to primetime TV.
Is this even documentary film even? I don't think so.
What is this? Yeah, I'm not even sure what show this is on the screen right now.
Is this still Unsolved Mysteries?
It's not MASH.
I don't know what this is. Anyone who watches these shows knows there is a lot of dramatic and theatrical flair to everything they do.
Mm-hmm.
It even has a disclaimer at the start of the show saying these are based off real events.
And based off doesn't mean accurate depiction of the actual events. They can just use names. They can use one character trait, and 95% of the rest of the character you see on screen is made up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just at this place, a thing happened. There were 3 people involved, and that's all they know. And the story is being completely made up.
But it's like three blokes going on a camping trip, think with the aliens. That's not real. But it's what the 3 blokes are saying, isn't it? But no other source said, yeah, but it's the 3 blokes who are saying it for this show. So that's what they're going off of. What more do you want?
Yeah, it's a combination of actual cold case files and weird reported UFO sightings and crap like that. So it's not just one thing. They do multiple types of stories. So,
because Matthews says that the person on screen is Amelia Earhart and everything.
Sure.
But it's like, yeah, we get who it is. It's just them saying like maybe she was captured by the Japanese or something during their flight to something. It's like, but maybe, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Who knows? It's an unsolved mystery. No one knows. No one knows.
She got teleported to a planet in the Delta Quadrant and then cryogenically frozen. I don't know. It's obvious. It was documented in Voyager.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Joe Crazy. Oh my God, it's almost as if these came out a while ago and new information came out over the years. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, these were made in like the early 90s. We're talking about 1991.
The show went on for about a decade, and then it canceled. They got brought back in 2007, and then it got brought back again, and they got brought back again to Netflix, I think. So it just keep coming back. So I guess people like this sort of format of some of them based off cold case, some of them based off weird, creepy stuff.
Yeah, it's just... But like I say, there's new information that comes out all the time. A mystery is never a mystery forever.
Yeah. Anyway,
it will be solved at some point.
Apparently it lies to you by telling you the story of someone talking about UFOs.
Oh no, something from 1991 that thinks it was correct in 1991 is lying to me in 2021, 30 years later. Oh, how dare... You know what? Next thing you'll tell me that the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park don't look like they do in real life. What? Oh, fucking Jurassic Park lied to me. This is what this is. Whatever.
Remember, I said these people do not understand linear time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like one of my favorite film documentary soap things is the BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs. I loved it. It is so scientifically inaccurate. It's embarrassing how inaccurate it is, but that was made in 1999. So new information, 20 years of new information has come out. So yeah, it looks really bad. But for its time, what it was saying was, 99% right. But then new information came out.
Yeah.
So I don't just say, oh, it lied to me. It's like, no, this is what they thought was correct.
It was the best
time.
knowledge we had at the time.
Yeah.
And this is the wonderful thing. Back to Voyager, as flawed as that show was, one of the best parts that was closer to real science fiction was when the Voyager came across those reptile people who were evolutionary cousins of Earth's dinosaurs that had an exodus long before humans came into existence. And that society had scientific quarrels about their true origins, of which the one researcher that befriended the crew, if you will, and was even planned to join the crew, but that was sadly scrapped, part because the makeup was too much work, and costs, of course. That was the whole thing about, he had the right idea. He had figured out that the species is not native to the Delta Quadrant. I think that was what they believed, but in reality comes from across the galaxy, because their genetic makeup does not match up with anything on their own planet, but does match up with the humans from the Voyager, which are his, which is why he's so keen on getting them, on keeping them around, because while we are vastly different from dinosaurs, our genetics are still more related to dinosaurs than they would be to a species that has gone through evolution on another world. And that very society was, because they didn't want to overthrow their whole belief system, because I think that their whole religion was built around the fact that they were something, I don't remember the details. And so the Voyager had to leave Voyager, them into their stupor. And a similar thing with the planet that had a false history of the Voyager that was completely propagandized.
With the Voyager being evil and everything.
Which isn't that far from the truth, but
which is very close actually to the truth. That was surprising.
But very exaggerated. The Voyager was a warship. Well, the Voyager technically is a warship against the Borg, but it was not that type of warship as the way it was portrayed. This is the whole joke about Voyager actually not being as good as the show tried to portray it as. But that was also a very good storyline, because in the end that was cleared up by them having found a memory of, or a save file of the Doctor, the hologram, who could help them piece together what really happened. And they even put in their museum a reenactment documentary, if you will, holographic nature, that showed how this whole clearing up history happened. It's like if we found out that, imagine somehow the Nazis had managed to erase all the truth about the Holocaust and everything, and now some researcher would come up with, I have evidence that this genocide happened in that place. People would laugh at him and calling him a tinfoil hat.
Well, Star Trek especially is notorious for doing stuff in science fiction that is never brought up again, with aliens, with weapons. I remember Nagilum from TNG, and if you guys remember watching Voyager, was it called the Cobalt missiles or warheads or something like that? They're used, I think, only once, and they freaking blow away a planet. Like, they just annihilate whatever is on the surface of the planet. So it was like, holy shit, that's a really powerful weapon, and we never see it again. So,
well, we only had one of those, or it was,
I don't remember that shit.
I can't remember which episode, but it was early on, and it was like, holy crap, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
So,
well, Voyager tended to forget about stuff.
I know.
Sometimes even in its own episodes.
So sad. Chad is right. Chad is right. Quintin, why are you complaining about not documentaries when you want to complain about documentaries? Because these are not documentaries. And I think in Germany the term docutainment is established already for this crap.
This is docutainment. Yeah. Entomentary, whatever. I don't care. Whichever way you want to put it.
A docutainment is something that pretends to be a documentary, but isn't.
Mm-hmm. See,
and that's all you need to know. You shouldn't you shouldn't be confused by it.
Yeah,
it just shows us how dumb you are.
The drama segments of these docutainments, feel like this should be part of like an Outer Limits episode.
Yeah, and really, I think they're just unnecessarily costly filler material to stretch out the show.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing to say, because the topic is that boring.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Did you know that Amelia Earhart was captured by the Japanese and executed? She definitely wasn't, but it's a fun thing to believe in. Robert Stack once described making the show as a compromise between making theater and doing a public service. And theater just happened to be more important in most cases. And this helps hammer home the first lesson we have to understand. Most documentaries are entertainment.
Think for children.
Journalism.
That's no. Those are not documentaries.
There isn't exactly an industry standard for documentaries to cite their sources, and yet they are traditionally treated as primary.
Hold on, was that also? Can I just ask a question? If you go back, was that the actor who played? Was it like the Colonel in Rambo?
Yeah, it looked like him.
Yeah, it looked like him. I don't believe this is a documentary.
Quintin, a documentary usually talks with the actual natural sciences scientists, researchers, the real historians.
Look at a war documentary.
Yeah.
It's usually old footage over a narration and being narrated.
You're willing to tell me that Rambo First Blood wasn't the documentary?
Well,
what?
When you actually
then you ask some time witnesses.
I haven't done this in a long time, but you can actually reference documentaries in your essays when you're writing them. So they're not considered primary sources in the traditional sense, because you're talking about books or reference material like experiments or scientific experiment papers. So it really depends on what you're trying to research, but there's nothing wrong with referencing a documentary. And I'm quite sure your professor would be like, "Oh, that's not real. That's fiction." Like he would know that certain TV shows or programs are like, "Yeah, that's not."
I will always bring it up. World at War is one of the best documentaries about World War II, because it is just literally straight up facts about what happened in World War II.
Yeah.
With like interviews with like people who fought at the battles and stuff. Because it was done in the early 70s. So it had all the soldiers and generals and stuff and journal documents and like actual film footage and everything like that. That's a documentary. It's not like exaggerated, all this sort of stuff. It is just, these are the facts. This is what happened. This is how it went, and this is the stuff that happened afterwards. That is it. There's interviews with people and they explain their experiences in the war and what they saw and what they had to deal with.
Yeah.
But that's a documentary. What's not a documentary is Unsolved Mysteries going to Timbuktu because of the Golden Llama. It's like, no, this is not a documentary. This is like an entertainment. This is just a soap drama pretending to be a documentary.
Yeah, and Unsolved Mystery shows also display many cases as and their perpetrators as worse than they are. Not always. Some are really that bad, but they also exaggerate for shock value. And of course, because then people are more likely to phone in because, oh, this is so bad, I need to say something. So this docutainment stuff, in a way, it can border on propaganda, at least the way it is made. Because it is not about, docutainment is not about a correct portrayal of what happened, but a narration about a thing that may or may not have happened, but it was certainly not the way it is portrayed. And that is very close to propaganda. All it needs is an ideological drive or something similar to it, some goal to achieve. Beyond just you watch this and you want to watch more of this. That's really all that's missing to make it propaganda. When I think of documentaries, I think of some nature documentary that just shows me all the different big and tiny animals that live in German lakes that I've never heard of. And I'm amazed that we have these super weird creatures here that I thought were just alien things that live in the Amazon or something. That's a documentary.
Yeah.
Not this. Oh, we want to tell you a story while we tell you 3 facts in 30 minutes. Just go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Primary people, and viewers are encouraged to not look into those topics on their own. Watching most of the cases which Unsolved once covered is close to impossible today, because everyone tends to just parrot the narrator's claims word for word.
Do you know what's funny? They showed that that rock in that river. I actually remember that story. They actually solved that mystery in a later episode. Because they thought it was like old carvings, but it was just like teenagers messing around.
Well, when someone is explaining something to you in some sort of academic fashion with, papers and graphs and this and that, you tend to give the presenter the benefit of the doubt unless you know the topic. So yes, most people will look at this and go, oh yeah, that's probably true. And that was the kind of vibe I got when I was watching 60 Minutes about COVID. It's like, oh my God, people think this is true. Like, oh great. So
the thing is I can definitely say about the one with that the rock carvings and stuff. It was the fact that they really were trying to figure out who had done it. It's like were they recent, were they not? So they got people in. They were talking about it, and at the time of recording, they hadn't figured it out. So they literally said, "We still don't know, but we're getting close to the answer." But in a later episode, it gave an update of what the answer was. So it wasn't the fact that it was lying, it was the fact that, we just don't know at this moment in time, but we're looking at all options. So there wasn't like trying to be like, ooh, this was like done by ancient Indians in like the 3rd century and all this sort of stuff. It was like, we don't know. We've got people whose expertise are on like new stuff, old stuff, how old the carvings are and everything like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like looking at the Nature Channel or National Geographic Channel or any of those science channels. They are made to be high definition, 4K, beautiful, showing the wonder of, let's say, the cosmos or a flock of birds or whatever they're doing. So the entertainment value is the slow-mo, high definition cameras that give you beautiful imagery. They don't need to embellish it. It's just, here it is. Here are birds. Here are stars. Here's Neil deGrasse Tyson to talk about a quasar or whatever. So that's kind of information with really nice pictures. They don't need to do anything else. So there's all kinds of documentaries of different topics. To make this more interesting to people, they have to reel you in. So murder, cold case files, stuff like Unsolved Mysteries, that's how they do it. And then they throw in other shit because that's all they got to work with for whatever reason. So
they have a time slot to fill, to be honest with you.
This
and
is
they
part
just
of
have to throw in. Yeah.
Every week they got
we got to fill in an hour. I don't know, throw in the rabid hamster attack.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you need to do.
And it takes days and days to make one episode, so they got to get their sources, get their stories right, get the people interviewed, get the actors going, and it's a whole production. So they're not going to be 100% perfect on the facts, and they're not saying they are. So it's fine. Anyway.
Entirely possible that some of those facts were exaggerated or made up on. You know, a great example of this problem in action is Super Size Me. If you took a health class in the early 2010s like I did, you probably got forced to watch this thing at some point. Teachers...
Quintin, you took a health class in the early 2000s.
What is that, in school or what?
Was it college? Was it community college?
What is that? What does he talk about?
Early 2000s, then it's probably like it was like in grade school.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he took a health class in the early 2000s.
Either the health class didn't have good information or he didn't listen to it.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm just saying those words, Quintin. Think very carefully about what is said next because this documentary you're making about documentaries, you could be lying to us. So,
oh shit!
But Super Size Me wasn't like a documentary. It was a soapymentary. That thing I was talking about. It's dramatic, it's drama in front of the cameras. It's like you don't call Jersey Shore, or Geordie Shore in the UK a documentary, even though it's all live and stuff. Like the Osbournes isn't a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
These things aren't documentaries, even though it's doing the exact same.
It's
like I wouldn't.
It's
the
corruption of the idea of documentary.
Well, it's like Man versus Food. That's not a documentary, but it's exactly like Super Size Me. Pretty much, she just eats loads of shit.
All right, here we go.
Teachers loved it, and it's easy to understand why. The film was a disturbing and shocking voyage into how mistreating your own body can lead to terrifying results. As Morgan Spurlock forces himself to eat nothing but McDonald's every day for 30 days. But in the decade and a half since Super Size Me was released, it has become one of the most consistently doubted documentaries of all time, as almost every attempt to recreate its results have failed. In fact, many people who have imitated his stunt have actually lost significant weight. To put it briefly, it seems that Spurlock was purposefully overeating at the restaurant and trying to avoid exercise to make his results seem more sensational.
Okay, that person behind him, did they eat at the restaurant?
Because you should ask what her diet is.
Yeah. What's going on there?
Yeah, to be honest with you, she just had the kiddie meal, and when I mean kiddie meal, she ate a kid. That's probably what happened.
When you're doing a documentary about your diet, probably don't have this giant person in the background. That's not not a good look.
About your diet. Don't have this fat ass behind you. No, but it's a film. It's a film first. It's like, let's put it this way: Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth was classed as a documentary. It's all a load of lies.
Yeah, I never watched Super Size Me, and I don't intend to, because I can tell you right now, if you eat more than 2,000 calories a day, you will gain weight. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's a film first.
Yes.
And that's it. It's not a documentary. This is to entertain you. This is not a documentary. It's not a scientific study. It's just a bloke eating a ton of McDonald's that you see go, oh, like that. Like An Inconvenient Truth. It's just Al Gore bitching about the fact that he wasn't the president of the United States. Well, come on. The bloke has literally now said that New York will be underwater in 2015, 17, 19, maybe next week. Oh no, let's try next year. He just keeps changing his dates of stuff. Everything said in An Inconvenient Truth is a lie, and it was already a lie by 2006 or whenever it came out.
I think there were actual changes after this movie came out to the fast food industry, but it had nothing to do with the movie. It was just the demand of their clients saying, "I don't want to have this size of fries or this size of hamburger or 3 patties." Even though when I look at menus for fast food, they have triple patties and all these massive.
What? Yeah. I literally had I had 2 triple cheeseburgers, I think 2 days ago from McDonald's.
Yeah, they serve them. They still do it.
Yeah, they still serve them. It's fine. It's perfectly okay. They said we don't want these sizes. We want bigger. That was probably what their answer was.
Right. Well, we're talking about
3 cheeseburgers. Let's get 4 in there.
Yeah, we're talking about
more.
In a fast food place. We're still talking about meat. So meat is not bad for you. Eating a lot of meat will not hurt you. It's everything else with that, with the fats and the sugars and other carbohydrates. That is what gets you. The meat's great. Your body loves meat.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually the salads that make people fat in McDonald's.
The various toppings and dressings.
Yeah, no, but the actual horrible salads they give you. Ugh.
Then there's the Coke.
I'd rather starve, thank you very much.
Then there's all the pop, all the sucrose, all the ice cream. If the ice cream machines actually work at McDonald's anymore, I don't remember if they do.
I cannot eat their ice cream because I've seen what the inside of their machines look like.
Yeah.
It's just, let's put it this way, I'm surprised it looks white when it comes out because it is not white inside that machine. It literally looks like Slimer from the Ghostbusters has fallen into there and like mixed with like, I don't know, a turd monster.
How do you know how it looks like? Were you working at McDonald's at one point?
No, my first girlfriend used to work at McDonald's.
And
she had to, she was sold to fix thing, and she took a picture and showed me what it looked like.
Oh god!
Inside. Yeah, it was that bad. And then she showed me the inside of one that was actually fully operational, and it looked exactly the same as the one that had like broken. And I was like, no, never again.
I've heard of the same story, but like about Burger King, like how they clean their plates, like the grills, like literally, like they still have like the washing liquid on it, and they just put the meat on it and then grill it with it. They don't clean it off. That was enough for me to not eat that again. Yeah,
it's I mean, I'll as I said, I'll eat the burgers and stuff sometimes, but I've got to be really just like hungover for it.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with eating fast food. It's just not all the time, not so much of it, not all at once.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As insisted in the documentary that he is eating more than 5,000 calories a day. The counter-documentary Fathead mocks this and points out how impossible it is to get anywhere near that with even the biggest 3-meal packages without breaking every rule in Spurlock's book. And it's funny to think about how meaningless that makes this documentary under this context. If you go to McDonald's and purposefully eat 5,000 calories worth of burgers every day, your health will decline. Whoa, no way, man, this is crazy. Our second lesson here is that most filmmakers have a gluttonous desire for people to watch their movies.
Really?
Let me see if I get this straight. Are you trying to tell me that the guy at the corner store wants you to buy his stuff? The winemaker wants you to buy his wine?
Oh, Quintin, say it ain't so. No, my entire life's a lie. You're trying to make out that filmmakers want us to watch the things they make? No, they just want it to be shown to empty theaters.
The stockbroker wants me to spend money on his platform. How dare he?
Oh my god. The shopkeeper wants me to leave and never return empty-handed. Oh my god, well done, Quintin. You're fucking big brain. I had to watch Super Size Me to realise that filmmakers want people to watch films.
And then Quintin going.
I don't know. Do these people have intelligence beyond grade school?
No. No, they're retarded.
You know when you buy a product and you don't use it, it's like, that was a waste of money. Don't you think?
It was just. I just can't. I'm sorry.
I can imagine like Quintin going to like McDonald's and then buying all this food and then realizes that, oh, those advertisements, they made me buy these things. God,
it's almost like McDonald's wanted me to buy their product.
I'm waiting for an Alex Halo comment about Shiro. About when people die when they are killed. It's like, oh.
Yeah,
people die if they eat over 5,000 calories a day.
I just love the way he said that, like he's like found the holy grail of like information.
He used that adjective. Where is it? Let me just rewind. Gluttonous desire.
Yeah, a gluttonous desire. Okay. Man, you know something? He had the biggest, smuggest grin when he wrote that line, thinking he was like, fucking Albert Einstein level intelligence.
The Sherlock Holmes of real times.
Yeah, he's like, I have figured out the greatest mystery: why filmmakers make films. It's so that people will pay to watch them. It's like, yeah, but
goddamn, man.
Next thing you tell me, the farmer farms the land because he wants money from his produce.
He might also want to eat.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's try and keep Quintin in perspective here.
Most filmmakers have a gluttonous desire for people to watch their movies. The reason I've been thinking about all of this is because of the release of the recent Netflix hit Tiger King. Let's be real here. Tiger King is much like The Real Joe Exotic. It's an extremely watchable film series and a great guilty pleasure. Truly, it's one of the most entertaining things to come out amid this quarantine. But as someone who loves documentaries and loves the good that a documentary can do, I'm not sure.
Okay, is a Netflix series a documentary or just a guy with the GoPro running around?
This is literally like watching the Osbournes again.
A reality show.
Yeah.
It's a reality show. This is not a documentary. This is a reality show. As I say, you don't call Jersey Shore a reality show. You don't. This is like calling The Bachelor a reality show. No, a documentary. It's a reality show. They're just filming people. Filming people doing stuff is not a documentary.
Oh, anything is a documentary.
Oh my god!
Documenting events.
Quintin, I bet Quintin thinks The fucking Office is a documentary.
The Godfather is the best documentary about mafia.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
All right.
I would ever say that it's a good documentary piece. Tiger King starts off as a lot of fun. You're seeing these crazy people doing all these cartoonish, backwater, eccentric things. Personally, they all ended up reminding me of a lot of people I went to school with, but didn't really know that well. And it's easy to see why people...
It reminded me of people I went to school.
Back in my day, I went to school with people with shotguns and tigers.
Uh-huh. Good. Yeah.
I never talked to them. But they remind me of people I used to know. Okay.
Oh my god, Quintin, what world are you in? What world are you in when you go, oh, the Tiger King reminds me of my youth?
Anyway.
Will have latched Joe as the source of memes and deprecations. And when you meet his lifelong enemy, Carol Baskin, it's also obvious why so many people would decide that they hated her with a fiery passion. But as it goes on, this becomes a lot less funny, as you realize that these figureheads are all horrible, manipulative monsters, and that many of the people presented in the documentary suffer from mental illness and disease. The show is basically structured around presenting you a narrative, then adding doubt to that while selling another story, then repeating that process over and over again, forever. It depends largely on personal testimony from people involved, and chooses not to tell you certain details in order to warp your perspective of the situation.
So wait a second. It sounds like all of the show is talking to people and recording them going about their daily business, and they have their own perspective on their life. And then someone else goes over here, talks to that person, and they have a different perspective. And they keep going back and forth. It's like, yeah.
It's like a reality show and not a documentary. Tiger King is not a documentary. I don't know why people think it's a documentary.
Yeah, we're not talking about a historical event. We're talking about a bunch of people living their lives that happens to be very different than you or I, or something that we're not familiar with, rather.
Oh my god, this is almost like saying like Married at First Sight is a documentary. Those really shitty, soapy things that you get on, like, you know, the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah,
like
I know. I'm trying to think of like a good comparison, but like the Kardashians are probably the closest, just because it's just. Yeah, well,
I'm going through tons of them because I had watched loads of them, but these are not documentaries; they're just reality shows.
All right,
they're not slice of life. They're I don't know.
Here's some journalists. Here's a camera. They just recorded stuff and talked to people.
Well, it's like was it 21 Kids and Counting or something? What's that? What's that really weird one? With that really weird family that got cancelled when they had loads of kids, like 17 Kids and Counting or something like that.
Oh, jeez. I thought the one was the the 9 kids. How many kids did that woman have? I can't remember that show.
I remember someone there was like but I remember watching one. There's a family in America who are really like, I'm sure chat will say what it is and everything like that, but they had like 15 kids and counting, I think it was called, because like they're even counting the grandchildren of the kids that they had. There's like just a fucking ton of kids. That's all I remember about it. That's not a documentary. That was just like a camera following them around. There's been tons of them. It's like, what was it? All those shows of like Paris Hilton did one where it follows her around. That's not a documentary. That's just a reality show for her. Like you said, the Kardashians. That's not a documentary. That's just following them around.
Yeah.
You know, the Real Housewives of whatever it was. That's not a documentary. That's just following them around. Jersey Shore, you know, all these things. They're reality shows, not documentaries. And Tiger King falls into the exact same category because it's not a documentary.
Right. Okay.
Numerous times over the course of the documentary, it seems like someone is not telling the truth or is stretching what really happened, but there isn't really any follow-up or response. It's like the filmmakers think it's just good TV to let people lie on their platform without being challenged in any significant way.
Maybe because they're just recording what they said. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's almost like it's not a documentary. It was just following them around for a set period of time.
I'm not understanding the confusion here, Quintin.
No, the confusion is Quintin doesn't know what a documentary is. He thinks that anything that is not fiction is a documentary. He thinks that every program that is not made up is a documentary.
All right.
That's how I feel. I feel like, yeah, it's superhero movies, cartoons, and then everything else is documentaries because if someone hasn't made it up, it's real life, so it must be a documentary when that's not the case.
Okay.
Some of the biggest revelations that's come out since the story is just how much material wasn't put into the film for one reason.
The film.
Film.
It's a series. It's not one film.
Well,
Yeah, but like he can't differentiate between the two. Like he thinks like every media that is a motion picture is a film. Like, it's just dumb.
Yeah, this is he doesn't know that he.
I'm gonna chalk that up to a grammar slip, but it's like, dude, what are you talking about? The film that is Tiger King. Like, what? No.
The film that is the series of the documentary about Tiger King. Like, we've just gone through a whole lot of different words here. What's going on?
Yeah.
Another. For instance, the directors have admitted to leaving out many overtly racist moments surrounding Joe in the movie. Specifically, the use of slurs and various rants he went on. And the reason this had to be done, in my opinion, is that the film only really works if you start it with the
film. Here we go.
Slightest belief that Joe might be some sort of redneck anti-hero. It's possible to make a guy who tried to kill a woman seem approachable, but not if he's a bigot. Also left out.
Why? What's wrong with him being a bigot? You could tell a story, like an anti-hero story about a bigot. What's wrong with that?
Bigot, yeah. But it's Quintin's opinion, and as we all know about Quintin's opinion, it's like an asshole because he is one.
I think a lot of people who watch the show, I haven't watched it, so I don't know the context, but they like the character of whatever his name is, Joe Exotic, and they also dislike him.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah. Because it's just one of those things where it's just a bit like... I don't know. No one now says that Joe Exotic. I would really like to meet him. He seems like a cool dude. It's like, oh no, I watched the thing. He's not that good. It's like, okay, but it's not a documentary. It's a reality show.
Is a lot of Edgar's extensive history with animal abuse, dating back all the way to 1999. When he was caught shooting a group of malnourished emu that he had offered to give sanctuary. Additional stories, like him shooting horses for pleasure, also seems to hit the cutting room floor. It seems that the abuse of animals that happened at the zoo was constant and continuous and worse than what we saw on screen, but presenting that information at the gate would make people not want to watch him be a jackass for the full runtime. Joe's testimony is often presented without question and is treated as valid by default in an attempt to appeal to both sides of the conversation. What this means is that lies are placed into the documentary and then not questioned.
So you're saying the person they're talking to is not being completely honest? How is the documentary lying when all they're doing is hitting record?
How is the movie of the film of a series of a documentary, Tiger King, that is a movie series documentary on Netflix, lying to people because the person who's doing it is a liar? This is silly. It's also not a documentary. You don't know what documentaries are.
That's like saying a news organization interviews some guy and that guy's lying to the reporter. And the reporter goes, okay.
Yeah. You're lying. I'm not lying.
What a strange take. If it's a documentary, then the documenters are just documenting everything. This is the stuff we saw and recorded. That's it.
Yeah.
We're not passing judgment. We're not saying this is good or bad, a lie.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything. We just recorded it. And then we chopped it up so it's easily accessible and it's fun to watch. That's it.
Yeah, because some people like to watch cringe and bullshit and horribly dumb people.
Some people like watching, Catching Up with the Kardashians? What is it called? I can't remember.
Keeping Up.
There you go. Yeah. I don't care, but some people do. Good for them. Is that lying if they lie to their mothers or sisters or what? I don't know.
You can't expect the documentary crew to go up to Joe Exotic and say, "Oh, can you just stop lying, please?"
Yeah.
Could you be ever so nice and when you lie, just not do it on camera. Just lie all the time. But what do you want? if this is a documentary, do you think that like documentaries, nature documentaries, go up to like the fox and go, "Excuse me, can you just not eat that rabbit? We're trying to film it for 5 seconds. Cheers, thank you very much for that." No, they don't have any choice over what gets filmed because it's a documentary.
That would be funny though.
What happened in the last 10 minutes of this of Quintin's video?
Oh, you'll love it.
No, the last 10 minutes that you covered, because I think I fell asleep.
Yeah, you missed anything.
You missed him. He finally figured out that filmmakers want people to watch their films.
Wow.
And yes, took us all by surprise.
Quintin, real documentaries are something for nerds. Okay?
Yeah.
I like real documentaries. Hawk likes real documentaries. I think there was a site called Doku Junkies, which was just torrents, BitTorrent files for documentaries. And that's not the bullshit you're talking about, but the real ones.
I like how Whisk just slightly insulted me by calling me a nerd, but I do agree. I do love documentaries.
It's the good type of nerd. And apparently, Quintin, as much as it pains me to say, you wouldn't have a problem with this kind of bullshit if you went into real documentaries and weren't a bit of an actual nerd yourself.
Yeah, this feels like, as I said before,
I understand. Quintin, I understand your problem, but you are not complaining about documentaries. You're complaining about something else.
Reality TV shows, that's what he's complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Leading to sometimes believe them flat out by default. At the end, when Joe says that he shot and killed those 5 tigers because they were all sick and needed to be euthanized, you're tempted to believe him. And it's not until you watch the After Party episode that you learn that he definitely killed the tigers because he didn't have enough space. Literally just watching people from the story talk in an unedited fashion tells you more of the truth than watching the entire series. You know, it's fascinating to me that Carol Baskin has been branded the enemy of the internet. I think the main reason is that Carol is the kind of bad person that we all know and can understand. She's the know-it-all, better-than-you, PETA-obsessed wine mom who probably voted for Biden. But she's also the first person the film ultimately chooses to go after, eventually leading to a surreal moment where it seems like the directors are playfully acting as if...
That's it, don't worry.
So voting for Biden is bad, Quinn?
Yeah, this video was made 2020 April, when they still had the primaries.
Oh, was that when it was between Biden and Clinton?
No, it was between Biden and Bernie Sanders and Biden.
Okay. But Quintin, I thought you fucking hate Trump.
Oh no, but he hates Biden because Biden's a dirty capitalist.
But what did he vote now? What did he vote now?
Well, he voted Biden. He voted Biden because Biden isn't a dirty capitalist now. He's wonderful.
Biden is the worst kind of capitalist. He's everything you claim Trump is.
And more.
Quintin. Yeah.
No, at the end of the day, obviously, Quintin's the sort of person who gave money to Bernie in 2016, gave money to Bernie in 2020, and will give money to Biden's corpse in 2024 because this time he might win.
Yeah, because Bernie's corpse needs a new home, or free.
I am once.
He needs 3 new graveyards.
I am once going asking you for donations.
Donations.
Vigilantism against her would actually be a good thing.
Whoa.
Dude.
Actually leading to a surreal moment where it seems like the directors are playfully acting as if vigilantism against her would actually be a good thing.
Because you're afraid of Carol Baskin.
Oh, yes, I am.
I'm taking Carol on because everyone else is scared too.
And it's crazy to read up on the real facts later and to realize that so much of what is presented in the episodes designed to bash her is either misinformation or lies. For instance, it's claimed that Don was a multimillionaire when Carol met him. This isn't true, because he only gained his wealth when he and Carol started buying and selling real estate. Don's ex-wife claims that the moment Don met Carol, he said he was leaving her, causing emotional disruption. But apparently, everyone in his life knew that he constantly cheated all the time, and Don's ex-wife only sought out divorce when she met another man, asking for only $1 million in exchange for keeping the process short. She later sued him for more, and the couple's kids took the stand against Don, and in exchange he never spoke to any of them again. Another woman in the documentary also embezzled $60,000 from Don's company, and everyone else has similar issues, which makes them really untrustable sources. The documentary lightly glosses over the fact that Don had lost his pilot's license and had been
I haven't seen this show, but in the chat, Matthias says that the show did not say this, whatever this is. So probably not some of the stuff that Quintin claims. So I don't know. I don't know. But I can't believe that Quintin is just as much making up shit or distorting things as he claims the show did, and maybe
Quintin misrepresents people, unheard of.
This is no different than watching the show and people have differing opinions, and then external to the show, people have differing opinions. It's like, wow, that's
crazy.
Amazing.
It's almost like it's not a documentary. It's crazy.
Quintin,
this is almost like it's not a documentary.
Quintin, watch something by Edward, or what his name was.
To be honest with you, now that fucking Chris Chan's gone, Quintin's got to find something else to watch, hasn't he? So
God.
I can get his son.
Yeah, I got to throw that Chris Chan joke in there, and it's okay.
Yeah, I've got to.
Yeah.
illegally years and was terrible at it. It's also casually left out that Don was supposedly loaning money to the Costa Rica Mafia, which is a pretty crucial piece of information.
Why? Why is that crucial? What's the plot?
What the fuck is going on here?
What is this information we need to know to understand the world that is Tiger King? Why is that relevant? I mean, you could have said he has an extra family in Florida. I'd be like, is that important to the story?
He deliberately explained everything at the beginning. He spent like so much time, and now he's just using the 5-second segments.
He was giving money to the Costa Rican Mafia.
Did you know in actual
documentaries,
they don't give every single bit of information within the 3 hours or whatever hours they have left?
Yeah.
That sounds like a bad documentary.
Well, this show sounds like it's not a documentary.
And Matthias said in the chat that the show didn't say vigilantism is good against Carol Baskin.
But like even Quintin didn't say that. Like it was like suggesting it.
The directors were suggesting it. Yeah, it's like, well,
playfully suggesting it. Yeah, well, whatever, Quintin. You only found out that filmmakers want people to watch their films like 5 minutes ago, so you don't know what playfully think. You don't know what words mean.
And isn't he? Is Quintin one of the radicals who support Antifa and BLM and that?
I'm
all that vigilantism?
Sure why is it? And why is the vigilantism suddenly bad?
Well, Joe Biden was bad, so come on. This is before the whole shit kicked off.
Come on, man.
This is before BLM, remember? So
hey, I love watching Tiger King. It's a great show.
I love watching Tiger King. But
all you need is a shotgun.
The tigers used to rub my hair and legs.
Just fire 2 rounds.
Utilize the tigers with the shotgun.
You don't need an AR. You need a shot. But Jill, I said, Jill, where's my shotgun? We scare one away with our shotgun. It's all it does.
I strapped 2 shotguns to a tiger. I laid down to water and made some milk when I came here in 1874. We just finished this video.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the last 2 minutes.
I think Carol had motive to kill her husband, but I think she lacked means or opportunity. It's really hard to believe she somehow got rid of the body in a way that no person has found evidence of.
What's going on?
In 10
Quintin.
years. It's also fucking hilarious when the documentary describes to us how she had like a kitchen meat grinder that was very small, but instead the editors throw in like a fucking Sweeney Todd-ass thing, like completely lying to the audience in our faces and expecting us to just not notice.
Wait. What's happening? Are we covering up a murder with the meat grinder?
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. All I know is he went, there's no means of motive. I'm like, okay, so why did you think
How did we go from was it the Colombian Mafia?
No, the Costa Rica Mafia.
All of a sudden, murder plot, and now we're grinding up bodies. Like, what?
Can I go to sleep?
Yeah, you can do it if you want.
What is this? What just happened?
I don't care right now because I just don't want to rewind it.
I don't
want to rewind. I don't know. Just go on. Just what the hell?
Oh my God, this whole video is so stupid. The guys.
All the things leveled against Carol are circumstantial. And meanwhile, all of these other larger-than-life personalities come across as definite criminals and manipulative monsters.
Look at that man. He is a manipulative criminal monster. Look at that.
He's riding the elephant.
Me menu. Tie everything.
It's just stupid.
He probably eats tiger babies. That's how bad a person.
Oh my God! If only he was riding a giraffe, then Quintin might have cried.
Oh God.
Oh, or a zebra. What a monster! Oh my God.
I just see he looks so happy right now, and he gets called a horrible monster. It's adorable.
If only The Last of Us Part 2 came out.
then these people would know about love.
Yeah, would know about love and understanding.
How to forgive a murderer.
Jesus. Please stop. This is stupid. I'm crying. I don't like the video anymore. I'm just watching and just listen to an idiot ramble on about nothing. And watch a man ride an elephant.
He has a larger-than-life personality. Okay.
And Matthew says, and I think when I saw someone, I think Critical Drinker covered this. I don't know. It also looked like what Matthews is saying, that no one in the show is presented as the good guys. They're all criminals.
Yeah, they have these animals.
It's just a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they're all just morons, just being morons of each other. This is not. Oh.
The only victims in this whole story are the tigers or lions or whatever it was.
Yeah, the tigers,
the kitty cats,
the animals. No, but the thing is, at the end of the day, this is a Netflix series just for the lowest common denominator of viewers.
What the fuck do you expect from Netflix?
Yeah, but it's.
They call their cartoons anime. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, this is just a bog standard reality TV show, which is just shocking enough to get people to watch it, and that's it.
Okay.
I'm just trying to calm down from the laughter of that, because that just tickled me so much. That was great.
Okay.
Elephant riding
so many of these private tiger collections are actually weird, surreal, hierarchical sex cults who
What?
legitimately try to brainwash young women into trading sex for higher staff positions.
Wait, what? What's happening?
How did we get here? How did we get here?
There's a sex cult for women
Women are
dressing up as
victims now
tigers?
again. Women are
This is
victims.
fucking awesome.
What is happening?
We just went from look at this fucking monster ran an elephant to sex cults.
Quintin, just
Why would
ask yourself, who wants to privately own a tiger?
Oh,
If
Mike
it's not
Tyson.
about some animal reserve somewhere where you just make them healthy to get them back into nature, then it's probably some cycle.
but why would tiger sanctuaries have a sex cult?
I'm confused. There's a staff position in these cults? Is it a church? Or what? Is it a business? They have like office space? Or what's going on?
You want to be a general assistant manager?
I'm gonna work my way up to middle management by blowing Steve. Like what?
Well, I'm dressed as a fucking tiger.
So many pussy.
So much. Why are we doing this video? Why are we on this? What are we doing?
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I'm gonna hit play because I'm lost.
Yeah, I just don't care anymore. I'm just lost. I'm just lost.
It feels weird to go back and remember that those same people were attacking Carol for running a nonprofit and having volunteers show up. I mean, why does this documentary spend a dedicated time trying to make a spectacle out of all
Because
of these
it's
details?
not a
Because it's not
So much of the
documentary.
serious stuff is presented
Documentary.
with barely any thesis.
Wait.
Because it's not a documentary.
Why would it wait, okay. Why would a document even if a documentary were to have a thesis, why would it need one? Why do you need a thesis?
Yeah,
statement?
documentary doesn't need a thesis for fuck's sake.
Quintin, shut that thesis as get onto the sex cults. More sex cults and elephant riding. We don't care about thesis.
Documentary can just,
True.
as I said, just show you the
Yeah.
little micro animals that live in your pond.
Yeah, that's all it is. It doesn't need a thesis statement like I think all Tiger King people are bad people. It's like, okay.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look. He's taken the Tiger King the same way as you take, like Steve Irwin's Zoo show that used to be on. Do you remember that one in the 2000s?
Oh, what's his name?
Like the Australian
Yeah.
Steve Irwin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his zoo thing. He's trying to take it like that show was like it was a reality thing, but also slightly like a documentary about the running of a zoo. Whereas like Tiger King, it's not about the running of shit. It's just fucking the weird life of this weirdo and these other weirdos.
Yeah, pretty much. Of the
And it's
life
just
they
a
lead
reality show.
as a result of selling and buying and raising exotic animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Like,
Matthews,
selling and
whatever
buying
you're trying to say,
exotic sex cults.
Matthews, don't make Tester your sentences. I'm too tired to parse that.
Matthew, stop speaking Portuguese. Speak English. Wait, hold on. Matthews has just sent me a message saying, yeah, the sex cults are on the show. The guy in the elephant had an actual sex cult. I know, it's pretty crazy. All I know is any man who rides an elephant anywhere, yeah, I believe he has a sex cult. There's no way that he doesn't.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, well, there was a video about that we were supposed to cover, but we ate.
Wasn't that a documentary about the Ark of the Covenant?
It was a documentary about some Indian slave labor.
All right.
Oh no, wasn't that was the second documentary?
Yeah, but that was the one where he rides an elephant.
Oh, okay.
Here is Jake the Surgeon. What cringe did I miss? I was giving it to my cat girl harem. Oh. Well, how about a cat girl harem with tiger spots? Oh yeah.
Yeah, tiger spots. I mean, tiger stripes.
Stripes. Okay, good point. Jake the Surgeon. Crocodile Hunter Diaries was good. Rest in peace, you glorious Chad.
Yeah, Crocodile Hunter Diaries. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a thing. But that's more like a documentary than Tiger King ever will be. So this is just.
When's the end of this video? Does he have advertisement filler? Because
Yes.
I can't go through 6 minutes of this.
Yeah. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Let's finish this off.
It's disgusting the way that Joe treated people at his zoo, underpaying them and giving them homes without working water, and specifically going after people with no chance to leave or to get a better life. But these moments are usually presented as buffoonish or inspiring, with the editing randomly choosing what narrative to tell based on the person talking. That strange roller coaster is the exact thing that Tiger King banks itself on. You end up leaving without really feeling like there was any thesis statement about animal abuse or mental health or anything
because that's
like
not
that.
the point.
Instead, it's just trying to capture and recreate this feud between these two ego-filled people and everyone around them as carnival performers putting on a show. It's sort of annoying to think that most of these people's lives were driven this way because of poverty, because of drugs, and that their lives aren't going to fundamentally change once this all passes, while these documentary creators will gain fame and fortune for this project. But hey,
nobody knows who these
entertaining
documentary
story,
makers are.
And maybe that's just what America needs right now.
What the
I
fuck
don't
you
want
on
people
about?
walking away from this thinking that I think that all documentaries are bad. Actually, documentaries are my favorite kind of media. If done right, they can really leave an impact and inform you about the truth behind a situation. I think my favorite 3 documentaries are Killer Legends, 3 Identical Strangers, and Prosecuting Evil. Killer Legends is an investigation into American myth, and when those myths can actually be rooted in an unseen truth. Prosecuting Evil is about one of the leading men behind the Nuremberg trials and his ongoing fight to punish crimes against humanity. And 3 Identical Strangers is about something so insane that I think you should just watch it with no context whatsoever. I'd really like it if you guys gave me some documentary recommendations in the comments.
It sounds like Killer Legends is just another docutainment thing, but you don't see through it because you like the topic.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I was just about to say that. Killer Legends is just the Amazon Prime version of Unsolved Mysteries. Cool. Okay, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecuting Evil is just this guy's story. So almost like a Joe Exotic style of story. Just it's his version of stuff.
So there would be a biographical piece.
Yeah, that's not.
You can call it a documentary, but it's a very special.
And also, 3 Identical Strangers. What was it? The most amazing, incredible, remarkable, true story ever told. It's like, you could have given a bit more information about that, and it was BAFTA nominated. So,
The most amazing, blah blah blah. I'm already not interested because that's a bullshit.
True story you've
that's
ever
a bullshit
told.
advertisement.
The only thing I know is that
never call your bloody thing the most whatever.
Yeah, but all documentaries are supposedly based on the truth.
No, it's what I should do at the very least.
Yeah, but all proper documentaries should be based.
All
on
proper
the truth
documentaries are not based on the truth. They just depict things as they are.
Yeah.
Proper documentaries don't try to build a narrative about anything.
Yeah, if a documentary, if you're watching something that's alive, it's probably not a documentary.
All right, here's Jake the Surgeon one more time. By the end, Joe is depicted as a bad person. I think that was, the general feeling and response people got after they watched that show. Everyone was seen as a bad person, rather.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we're almost done.
Because they're my favorite kind of media, but it can be hard to find the good ones, you know? The point I'm trying to make is that it's important when viewing these projects to understand that in the modern age, documentaries have mainly evolved into being art. And art is fiction.
Wait a second. Wait, just...
Yeah.
When you are making a documentary, there's a craft involved of you're talking about filming and interviewing and lighting and all the normal stuff you would do when you use optics. That's fine. But the nature of the documentary is not fictitious. It is reality. That's why it's called a documentary. You can make a fictitious documentary, and a lot of this stuff which is embellished goes in that vein. But by its very nature, it is not trying to be fictitious.
Yeah, the thing is, Quintin is taking the most complicated route here to figure out that this isn't a documentary.
You could argue art is a simulacrum. It is a representative thing. And you could say, yes, this statue is not a real person. You're like, yes, you're right, Quintin. But it represents a character or a person in reality, like we have with monuments to people who are war generals or heroes or whatever. We get that. I don't think the David and Goliath story is real. But I also don't think David had huge hands if he was. So, I mean, it's...
This is my thing where he thinks that all documentaries, anything that's fiction isn't a documentary. So everything that's real is a documentary.
Yeah.
I don't think he understands. He doesn't definitely understand words.
I don't think he understands genre at all. If he just says documentaries are fiction, you're like, okay, then what the hell is interviews then? What is reading Anne Frank's novel? Diary of Anne Frank is all about, like, is that fiction? Is it all fake? I mean, come on, dude.
You can't.
There is an art to writing and recording anything and recreating it in another format. That is true. That doesn't make it fake. That doesn't mean the story you're talking about is not about a real person.
If you film like nature, like put a camera in your background and film nature, then you make a voiceover, narrating what happened in the back garden. It's a documentary of what you did, the wildlife in your back garden. Is that fiction? No, it's all real.
Okay.
Quintin just don't.
Quintin, just don't anything. Just don't. I don't have to add any more words. Just Quintin, don't.
Yeah, I started writing some stuff down because it's so dumb. And I realized, wait a second, what does he care? And his comments are so childish. Like what was that? Art is not fiction. Yeah, just put art is not. If anyone wants to go to Quintin's video, just put art is not fiction. Put it in the comments.
Fiction can be art, but that doesn't mean that all art is fiction.
Yeah,
the music. By that lot, this is Quintin. You need to think things through.
All I know.
By your logic, now music is fiction.
Yeah.
Music doesn't exist.
Yeah, the person who makes you a suit, that's not real.
Music isn't real. Music is a lie. You're just having hallucinations.
That pizza I ordered, that's not real.
Yeah, but just go into Quintin's video and post voting for Biden is a bad thing.
yeah, it's good.
So here's Jake the
vigilante justice is really bad, and you shouldn't riot the mob and do bad things. It's really, really bad.
A drawing of T-Rex is fiction. Dinosaurs being a deception by the capitalist, patriarchal, atheist, NASA-funded globe Earth myth confirmed. Okay.
The globalist Jews, yes.
Yeah, dinosaurs aren't real. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're almost done.
Dinosaurs are a Nazi invention.
But do you know what's never delivered with complicated motivations? YouTube sponsorships.
All right, we're done.
Oh, we're done?
Yeah, we're done.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Streaming! Please do. Let there be actually some good ones. Because there wasn't any...
2 minutes! 2 minutes of shilling.
For a bunch of earbuds.
Yeah, hooray.
Thank you for not having to listen to more of this.
Child. He's a child.
No
All
wonder
right.
he only has one fan.
All right, stream memes. Oh my God, what am I reading? Poppy Ren Mine Air, Poppy Ren Bite.
What does he have on the? That's syringes. Okay.
Syringes. That's funny.
Papers, sir. Papers, please.
All right.
That's not.
Here's.
it's
There it is. That's what I want. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I can't live out my days as that person. That man is bereft of passion and imagination. That is not who I am.
When he said that man is bereft of passion and imagination. That is not who I am. And he's screaming. I love it.
Oh, it's a great episode. I should watch it again.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great.
Mon Capitan.
Dragon's
Mon
World.
Capitan.
The best documentaries, Dragon's World, a fantasy made real. You too will believe.
I'm sure I've seen that as well.
It's a DVD.
I'm sure.
Mermaids. The
I remember watching. I think one about if dragons were real, and there was a dragon fighting a T-Rex. It was awesome. 12-year-old me loved it.
I hate this shit. I hate shit like this.
Quintin's health class is.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh no.
Ooh. That is salad diet.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, eating vegetables will get you fat, just so you know. Meat diet. Yeah. I'm a goddamn leopard.
The gorilla has. I don't know. The gorilla has the look of Golgo 13 on his face.
Not giving
don't
a
mess
shit.
with that guy.
Just. Bleh.
Mm-hmm.
This is Spinal Tap. Quintin, this documentary lied to me. Yeah, is that Queen movie? Is that a documentary too?
It must be because yeah. Jesus Christ.
Filmmakers have a gluttonous design. You put glutinous.
I like glutinous. That's good.
He's Brazilian. He can't spell. Just let him off.
I need some cholesterol and some glucose.
Glutinous.
To make people watch their stuff.
No shit.
Oh boy, what is this? Oh my God, it's Bob. That's a fairly small amount of McDonald's for an average size person, I'd say, question mark. The main reason fast food cooks so fast and lasts so short is that there isn't much density to it. Oh my God.
Density.
I wouldn't want to eat a double helping of nuggets in that time frame, but I could easily.
Oh
Density.
my God.
This dude thinks there's no density in a Big Mac.
Density. It's just about miles for him.
You know when they say quarter pounder, that means an actual quarter pound of beef. I don't know.
Well, what McDonald's calls beef.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know how you weigh that, Bob, but that's why they use that term. I don't know what does he want, like 1 pound of beef, then it's more dense in one patty? I don't know. It's whatever works for him, I guess. Oh no. This documentary lied to me. Yes. Man threatens violence towards humans and animals. I sleep. Man says no words, real shit.
Quintin does research.
Yeah. You're one of the good ones? What?
I'm one of the good nerds. I'm just like, yeah, okay.
So, breaking news. Artists want people to view their work. The original critique by NB is of the male gaze. Oh, God. Present in your first illustration. I don't think anyone can question your technical competence. What's being discussed are the political implications of your stylistic choices. Wait a second. What the hell is the political implication of a stylistic choice? I'm going to draw in the style of Russian propaganda. Is that like...
Yeah. Oh God. Our Green Party, for an invitation to one of their party events, just recolored the flyer of the Communist Party from Weimar.
Yay!
But how
That
how
was
can you,
that was fun.
Yeah, but
like, can you imagine
smart
drawing
though.
line art and going, what's the political implication of drawing line art? It's like, what? What are you talking about?
All
White
I know is
supremacy.
that the response is fucking perfect.
CJ, I'm saying this as politely as I can. This internet critilingo, the male gaze, is maybe one of the most head-scratching arguments I've ever heard. You better believe I want gazing of my artwork. Long, affectionate gazing from both men and women. I'm a commercial artist. That's from
Yep.
Jason Scott Campbell. Guys, Joe Exotic kills animals in a zoo. Meanwhile, who kills more animals, PETA or HSUS?
Yep.
What's the HSUS?
I don't know.
The Humane Society of the United States.
Never
It
heard
says
of
it
it.
there.
And PETA kills the vast majority of cats and dogs in its care at its shelter.
Yeah, 90%. Yeah, yeah. They just straight up murder them.
Well, when you have people who are privately owning animals for whatever reason, unfortunately, some of them are going to die. It's the same with a farm. You have to kill some of your farm animals.
Yeah, sadly, that is also the case in normal animal shelters because that is mainly not because of that is not just because of strays. That is because people buy animals that they then don't want to care about anymore. Like there's lots of dogs and cats mainly where that is the case, and
Yeah,
where
but
it's just, the dog got too big. Oh, we're scared of our dog now that it's not a puppy
Yeah, but-
anymore. Like,
yeah,
fuck you.
yeah. But the thing is, at least if you go to somewhere else other than Peter, the dog will stay for and have a chance to be rehomed.
I know.
Peter just literally just murders them within a day of getting them. They
I
literally
know.
just get the dog and then throw him into an incinerator.
I know
So-
there are, and I've known of some
They're
cases
vicious.
where
They're vicious, horrible bastards, and I honestly despise the whole lot of them because they view animal life over humans, but they still view animals as fucking scum. And
Yeah.
it's like, what
Yeah,
are you? You just
Peter doesn't-
You just like killing.
Peter doesn't see any life as valuable.
Yeah.
It's just a giant, insane scam of I don't know what is going on in these minds at this point. But yeah, we had this story where I and a couple of friends who knew a family that got a Labrador puppy, and it was cute and nice and everything. And as the little thing grew, on top of that, they got that little thing when they had just a baby, which is really stupid idea. And well, a Labrador turns into a small horse when it's grown up, and that happens really fast.
You've obviously bought a wrong animal if
Yeah.
your dog's grown into a small horse.
Yeah. Well, and the Labrador needs a lot of outside time. It's a water dog. When Labrador sees a body of water and wants to jump in. It was just complete idiots, and they never trained the dog. And they had him lashed to the heater with a 1 meter long rope. Like and later on, the thing is they never established a proper hierarchy within the family. And Labradors are dogs that want to create order. So when they don't see a hierarchy, they immediately think, okay, there's no order here, so I have to make it. Which is why that dog behaved as if it was the head of the family. And
that was a very weird Labrador because they are like the most polite dogs ever, and they even want to be friends with the thief if there would be a burglar.
Yeah, but well, it was a very friendly dog, but that family was unable to establish to even have the.
Well, they are Germans, so understandable. Yeah.
No, there was probably the worst example of Germans you can imagine. And they even later on they kept him on they lived on the 13th floor later on. So they moved from a village where they had lots of green to an apartment on the 13th floor. Like with the dog, and of course didn't have time to get the kid, the baby, and this by then tiny horse outside anymore, because you couldn't keep the wife couldn't keep the leash of the dog pulling too strong, because they never trained him. So what did they do? They kept him upstairs, where he shat on the balcony. When I was there and saw just from a side glance, so they didn't see I was looking. I had noticed that, and after that I decided, okay, we're gonna, me and acquaintances who, well, let's say any friendship ended pretty soon with these people. We started talking to the husband that he should definitely bring the dog to the animal shelter, because they apparently cannot take care of it. And we were very cautious with that at first, because these both are now, in retrospect, are different types of narcissists, very horrible people. And by the end of those 2 weeks, I made him an ultimatum and said, if he's not in an animal shelter within the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna call services, because we have to do that, because you are abusing that animal. You are not providing a family. You're not providing the most basics that animal needs. So either you bring him in yourself, or you get services on you. And at the very least, he at that point realized that the dog was over his head, and did deliver him to the animal shelter. And not long after, the dog got a new family. From what I heard afterwards, was pretty good. And this dog had very little chance of getting one, because he was, I don't know, 2 or 3 years at the time, and he hadn't learned anything. He really couldn't do anything. He had not a single order that he could follow. Not even sit. So right. that people took care of him is very, very awesome.
Here is a little picture of Jesus, and it says, when you watch a Netflix documentary and tell your coworkers about it the next day. And I guess that's the Sermon on the Mount. I don't know, but
it's a Jesus thing.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
Or if we look very closely, it's a screenshot for the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series they're doing.
Yeah, leaked.
When you watch a documentary and feel smart AF. That is the Fresh Prince dressing up as someone? I don't know.
The Nutty Professor.
Carlton, maybe? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Watches Netflix documentary one time. I'm cultured, meme base, funny memes. Okay.
Hooray.
I'm so smart. What is that? Chernobyl after the nuclear explosion. Okay.
Why does that make me giggle?
Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Oui, c'est fiction.
Well chosen image.
Yeah. Oh my. Art is fiction, Quintin. So here we have the very famous National Geographic photo, Diary of Anne Frank, and Beethoven Symphony No. 5. Yep, it's all fake, not real.
Yep. Yeah.
Never happened. Here's Mike Testa, Quintin 300 years in the future, Smudcast and something Houghton.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. What?
I fucking hate Gazup. Gazup. Zorpafield's bad documentary on space capitalism and 21st century should. Mr. US century. Jesus Christ, Mike.
You must have heard that you were shitting on Matthias's English, so he had to step in.
Yeah.
Mike's consciousness is on another angle.
The only joke we made was about Quintin's grammar, and then when we got to the memes, then was Mateus's grammar, and now it's Mike's like, no, I'm the guy with the grammar problem.
Hold
My beer.
Hold
your fucking hoses. I'm the one who can't say words on this fucking stream.
I don't even. What is this anyway? Holy shit! What am I looking at? Even.
Well, the drawing. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's Ascension.
Mike tested Drew, and I was like, "What the?" All right. PETA kills animals. Is PETA responsible for the deaths of thousands of animals? Mostly true.
Mostly true. I love how it's mostly true. It's like, okay, what parts aren't? Do they kill thousands of animals? Yes.
It's just almost thousands. It's just a few thousands, so it's almost thousands.
Here's
I don't know. I don't know how this stupid.
This is PETA's worst
language
nightmare.
Works.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, doggy.
It's just...
Oh God.
That dog's probably dead now.
The real Tiger King. Oh yeah.
Yep. Look at that Chad.
Well, that was a Quintin video. It was tied at the time because it was neck and neck, and they got tied for a Turf Nation video. We just did Turf Nation a week or two ago, and I don't want to do too much too quick at the same time. So, my God, holy crap!
Also, Turf Nation's just an idiot.
Yeah, like Quintin is hilarious. He is absolutely ridiculous, but Turf Nation is, I don't know, he's empty, devoid of thought.
Yeah. At least Quintin's given us the comic gem of filmmakers want people to watch their films. I just blew my mind.
That broke me. That seriously broke me.
The gluttonous desire.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks guys. That was marginally entertaining. I mean, as far as watching stuff on Smudcast goes, I would say it didn't break any genres. So, yeah. Did I learn anything? No, but that's okay.
You don't go into a Quintin video expecting to learn stuff.
Yeah.
That's just silly.
So do we know how documentaries lie to you? Aside from not recording everything they see and hear, yes, that's about it.
Not recording everything in the entire world since the dawn of time. Yes, they do lie to you.
They omit data. This is true. Yeah. So maybe
sometimes they have to turn the cameras off at some point.
I guess you can make that a lie by omission, but that's really pushing it. So.
Also, somebody who they're filming might lie, so they're lying to you by filming a person lying.
Yeah, and let's forget the imposter documentary film. That was a joke. Just don't even bother remembering that one.
And also, let's just ignore Tiger King because it's not a documentary.
Well, people will describe it as such.
Most of the things. Yeah, but people are idiots. I've learned that people are idiots over the last 18 months.
Anyway, thank you guys for the suggestions. Keep the suggestions coming. I don't know if we're going to do anything recent that, just because it didn't make the video or the Smudcast today, doesn't mean it can't be tomorrow. But try to mix it up. Try to get some different videos in there, different creators. And that'll just keep our brains just, different ways of looking at the world. We don't want to see another Quintin video for another month, hopefully.
Yeah, always big thanks to the people who look through this shit and put together the polls.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do that. I'm sorry.
It takes time. It does. You can't just slap them together. You got to think it through. But thank you guys. Thanks for the suggestion. Keep the suggestions coming. The suggestions channel in the Smudcast, or rather the Smudboy Discord. And hopefully your channel that you vote on, or in the channel, in the voting channel, you can vote on the videos there. We might just cover your video. So thank you again. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.